is what we'll be bringing.
I am neither David Cassidy nor a member of the Partridge family. However, if you'll forgive the turn of phrase to riff on another song, we are family here on the show. Do we come on and get happy on the show every day? That could be up for debate. But come on, it's Friday, and we're going to enjoy our conversations and one another's company. That's what we got to do because it's Friday. All Request Friday, this week's theme, happy and or uplifting songs. And so I don't think it's any happier than that, the theme from the Partridge family. Come on, get happy by request from Norma on your All Request Friday, happy or uplifting songs edition. If you want to make a request, just save it, okay? I mean, I know I had more than a dozen on my side. I know Devin gets some calls on the other side. I'm going to guess. Give me a thumbs up over there, Dev. We're jam-packed, aren't we? We're full. Don't call Devin with requests. So he gave me 2 thumbs up. I asked for 1. This is how Devin works, right? You ask him for something, and he gives you more than you ask for. We need more Devins in our world. Attaboy. 2 thumbs up. Sorry, we are jammed when it comes to requests, but you can just sit back, open your ears real wide, and say, give it. Wait a minute. I started going into WKRP again. That's the second time this morning. I was just talking to my coworkers in the newsroom about WKRP in Cincinnati. Anyway, you can sit back, open your ears real wide, and enjoy the songs that others have requested on our All Request Friday Happy Songs edition. Your not $1 million question coming up just before 9:15 as well. And the question I have for you as we begin our time together this morning is this. Are you smarter than an 8-year-old? I'm not sure any of us is smarter than this particular 8-year-old from whom you will hear during our Farwell Show 5 in just a moment. But getting down to business for the day, that's part of the business of the show, the Farwell Show 5. I want to thank my buddy Craig from Hockey Helps the Homeless, Waterloo Region. He stopped in and he puts up with me. That's why he's a buddy, because it's like 20 minutes to showtime and I'm trying to get ready to at least sound halfways prepared. Like I always try to do a half-arsed job on this show. I'll never do the full-arse job, but I'll always try to do the half-arse job on the show. And Craig brought us the 12th annual Waterloo Region Hockey Helps the Homeless tournament that raised, are you ready? $350. I'm going to put it up on the TV right in front of my face because this looks better than my face. $352,000 raised this year. And Craig stopped by for a little photo op and to drop off the commemorative plaque that we can keep here at the radio station. We partner with Hockey Helps the Homeless every year because we love the work that they do. And that is $352,000 net into the community to help out various agencies that support our homeless population. Thanks for stopping by, Craig. As you know, the minute we begin the show every day, our phone lines are open. It is the most interactive radio program anywhere in the region. And Andre is off to an early start today. Good morning, Andre.
Thank you, Mike. Happy Friday. You put a smile on my face.
Good. That's what we're supposed to do today. Happy days. Yes, happy songs, uplifting songs, game day, baby.
Absolutely. And my third point from yesterday was...
Andre, let's leave yesterday where it was. Today is today.
No, I'm
okay.
not. No, I'm not. You know why?
Why?
He's one of your best friend, the weather guy, Cooney.
What? He's not my friend.
Oh, he is.
No, Cooney is only my friend. Kitchener Cooney, our buddy from Environment Canada, is only my friend when it's sunny and above 20 degrees. Other than that, I can't stand the guy.
I misheard. But anyway, he said that we're not done with the snow because we're going to break a record. So kudos to him.
No, not kudos. We don't want to break that record, Andre. Some records should stay where they are. And the snow record should stay in 2008. Thank you very much.
Well, go Rangers.
All right, Andre. Thank you for the call. Andre called yesterday. If you weren't listening to every second of the show, and it's okay, you don't have to. I ask for 15 minutes a day, but it can be any 15 minutes. So if your 15 minutes yesterday or more did not include Andre's call, he came in prepared. He had 3 things he wanted to share with us, and he only remembered 2 of them. So I suggested to him, maybe next time he calls, he just has 2 things because 3 seems to be a lot to keep track of. Anyway, the third thing that he wanted to mention is how excited he is that we might break a snowfall record this winter. I don't share that excitement at all, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, but our buddy, Rob Coon from Environment Canada, we affectionately refer to him around here as Kitchener Cooney, reminded us that the record for snowfall in this region was set back in 2008 when you know what, I better get this off my text. I'm going to forget. It was like 244 centimeters, I think. Let me just get this here. Yes. Okay, here we go. Winter of 2007-2008, we had 249.4 centimeters of snow in the season. That's the record. So far this year, we have had 195 centimeters of snow, according to Cooney's own record keeping. So we need another 55, we'll round up, 55 centimeters of snow this winter in order to set a new record. And according to Kitchener Cooney, there is ample time to set that new record. I hope we don't. I hope it never snows again. And by the way, I hope it gets about 40 degrees warmer than it is right now. But this is what we're facing. That's what Andre is referring to, just so we can all keep up with the program.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9.
All right, how about that Farwell Show 5 this morning? And are you smarter than an 8-year-old? Number 1 on your Farwell Show 5, you're going to get a line-by-line look at the 2026 budget in Wilmot. Council unanimously passed a motion to that effect at its special meeting last night, which included a delegation by 8-year-old Michael Farnan.
We often talk about fiscal sustainability as if it's a math problem. It isn't. It's a moral one. When we ask a senior in New Hamburg for another $24 a month, we aren't just adjusting a line item. We are dipping into their grocery budget or their heating bill or their ability to stay in the home they built. As we move toward this 9.7 increase, our job is to ensure the burden doesn't break the community we're trying to save.
How do you like that? Let's make sure the tax burden doesn't break the community that you're trying to save. 8-year-old Michael Farnan delegating at Wilmot Council's special meeting last night. As you heard Michael note, the proposed tax increase in Wilmot was 9.7% at the outset of that meeting. And Ward 3 Councillor Harveer Sidhu says the township cannot pretend it's like every other municipality when it comes to explaining its finances.
Wilmot has been in this situation for 20 years leading up to this. It was very much of, trust us, we got this, we're in great financial shape. I don't blame the public for not trusting the corporation and saying, you don't need to see that, everything's hunky-dory, because, yeah, we are in a bit of a pickle. We are in a unique situation in Wilmot where people are expecting more and more transparency. So that is the angle that we're coming in from, saying we need more information. We want to share more information and we want to start building your trust back.
I am here for any audio clips that say hunky-dory. So, as noted, Council did pass that motion directing staff to make line-by-line actuals and variances for the 2024 and 2025 budgets, as well as detailed line-by-line information for the 2026 budget, publicly available by next Wednesday. Council also found a duplicate expense of $65,000 and eliminated the mayor's and council's cost of living increases to bring the proposed increase for Wilmot residents down to 9.22% in this year's budget. I dig the line-by-line public display of a budget. I don't know why we don't get it. I think we should always get to look at that stuff. I would geek out on it. Anyway, that's what happened at Wilmot Township Council last night. And speaking of mayor and council increases, number 2 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, a consultant's report looking at compensation in Cambridge found that the mayor's salary is too high based on a value for role model. The report says Mayor Jan Liggett's salary should be around $124,000 per year, but she's earning $135,000 instead. Meantime, counselors in Cambridge are earning about $56,000 per year. That's about $3,600 less than what the report suggests they should be making. Number 3 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre set to address his party faithful tonight in Calgary. His leadership will be up for review at the National Conservative Convention this weekend. For the first time in 2 decades, the party's delegates will vote on whether their leader should remain at the helm after the Conservatives lost April's general election to the Liberals. Number 4, usage of United Way Waterloo Region's Community Hub. That's a large meeting space and boardroom that's used free of charge by local nonprofits, charities, groups from across all of the region. It set a new record in 2025, that usage. More than 26 different groups from across the region used the Community Hub more than 105 times last year. More than 2,000 local nonprofit staff, social workers, other local residents used the space for team meetings, gatherings of boards of directors, essential training sessions, and other in-person functions critical to the operation of their organizations. According to the Ontario Nonprofit Network, having a free space to meet allows a charity to facilitate community development, enhance social interaction and engagement, and generate economic revitalization. A record usage of United Way Waterloo Region's Community Hub last year. And number 5 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, Home Hardware's annual supplier partnership charity golf tournament raised almost $182,000 in support of Cystic Fibrosis Canada. The tournament brought together Home Hardware team members, dealers, and suppliers for a day of friendly competition and camaraderie, all in support of a meaningful cause. You know, this is the most meaningful cause to me. Of course, our friends from Home Hardware, based in St. Jacobs, had me out at the tournament last summer. Oh, last summer, how I miss you so much. Your warm weather, your sunny skies. Anyway, it was a lovely day, and we are so very grateful for that support. Proceeds from the event directly support Cystic Fibrosis Canada's work in research, advocacy, care, and support for individuals and families affected by cystic fibrosis. And that is your Farwell Show 5 for this Friday morning.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!
Something we do every Friday morning on this show, along with playing your requests, which will continue throughout the day, is our not $1 million question. We have some fun with this. It's called the not $1 million question because I mistakenly called it the $1 million question the first time I tried this. And then somebody said, if I get this answer right, are you going to give me $1 million? I will not do that. But we will be impressed with you, and you get to carry our admiration with you through the rest of the day, maybe even the rest of the weekend. However long it lasts, that glow from us admiring you for getting the right answer to our not $1 million question. I've got 2 that I think are pretty good here. And you know, Devin Robertson came through for me in such a big way, letting me know about the songs and the requests that are jam-packed. Dev, just give me 1 or 2 fingers, and I swear by sweet Sonny, if you put up the wrong finger for number 1, I'll be very upset. You can do whatever you want. You're allowed to do that. I will not take offense like William Nylander giving the bird to a TV camera. Question 1 or question 2, I think they're both really good. I can't decide, Dev. So 1 finger or 2, which question are we going with today? I saw what you did there. That was pretty clever. Okay, and he got the second finger up. That's what he did. So that means I'm flipping over to question 2, the not $1 million question this morning. Oh, Devin, you are on fire this Friday, young man. Okay, your not $1 million question this morning. About 40% of people say they have Googled this about a coworker. You coworker Googlers, you. What is it? What is it that 40% of people say they have Googled about a coworker? Think you know the answer? Do you want to bask in the glow of our admiration for your intelligence for the rest of the day, maybe the weekend? take your best shot at our not $1 million question this morning, as chosen by Devin Robertson, our technical producer. About 40% of people say they have Googled this about a coworker. What is it? We'll start taking your guesses for the not $1 million answer after this on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side.
The one and only, wait, no, I must say the two and only, I think, Simon and Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Waters, by request from Annie, Farwell's Force member number 7 on this All Request Friday. Uplifting or Happy Songs edition. It was Annie who suggested, after we did sad songs last week, that we ought to do uplifting songs this week. I mixed in the word happy as well, happy or uplifting. But since it was Annie that suggested the theme, it's only appropriate that her uplifting song, and that is, let's build bridges over troubled waters, okay? That uplifting song makes it onto our All Request Friday today. Simon and Garfunkel and A Bridge Over Troubled Water. What we do on Fridays as well is a little something we call the not $1 million question. If you get the answer, we're going to be really impressed. It's as simple as that. About 40% of people say they have Googled this about a coworker. What do you think people Google about their coworkers? Let's take a guess from George this morning. Hey, George.
Good morning.
Uh-oh. George, where did you go?
Oh, can you hear me?
Okay, I got you now.
Okay, I'm in a bad area, so I hope I can get it through. I'm going to say you check for criminal activity or criminal record.
I like that, George. I like where your mind is. Who do you work with anyway? You check, you do a background check on your coworkers. Hey, do you remember when the city of Waterloo made a really bad CAO hire? And they didn't, I don't know how criminal the activity was, but the person they hired had been involved in shenanigans in the past. If only they had George on staff at that time in the city of Waterloo to have avoided that outcome. That's not the answer we're looking for. 40% of people, well, I don't know how many people have Googled their coworkers' criminal history, but that's not the answer we're looking for today. It might be less than 40%, it might be more. But the 40% of people that have Googled this about a coworker is, what do you think, Sean?
I'm going to say their LinkedIn profile to look up their past jobs in education and stuff.
You know what, Sean? You and I are of like mind, but that's not the answer.
Alrighty.
All right, thanks, Sean. That's exactly what I thought. This coworker, especially if it's coworker that annoys me, I'm like, are they really qualified for this job? How did they get this job anyway? So I'm going to Google their job history just to see if they actually belong here. Or maybe, they got the job because they knew someone. That's what they say. It's not what you know, it's who you know. But that's also not the answer we're looking for. That was exactly what I was thinking would be the answer to the question, but that's not it. Our not $1 million question this morning. About 40% of people say they have Googled this about a coworker. What is this thing that 40% of people have Googled about their coworker? 519-570-2545. Star 570 and 1-800-570-5715. We will get you the answer before 10 this morning, but you are welcome to take another shot at it. It's not their criminal history. It's not their work history, but 40% of people say they have Googled this about a coworker. Just going back to what I was saying near the beginning of the show and having a conversation with one of my colleagues about WKRP in Cincinnati, you'd be amazed at the number of people who I work with now in this business that have no idea what WKRP in Cincinnati even was. Because you see, I'm older and they're not. And it's a very strange place to be. So maybe I should Google like their generation so I could understand them a little bit better and maybe try to talk about shows that they know things about, like Arrested Development or something. I don't know. But ain't nobody know WKRP in Cincinnati around here anymore except us old farts. Let's go back to the phones. Chris, good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to say their name.
Google their name.
See what comes up.
Oh, I get it. So I like where you're going with that, Chris. Not the answer we're looking for, but thank you for playing along. Sometimes, I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but I'm gonna admit it anyway. Every once in a while, I will do that. I will Google my own name. I just want to make sure there's nothing bad. Isn't that terrible? I'm so neurotic, but I'm like, what bad stuff got onto the internet about me this week? Anyway, I haven't checked in a long time. Maybe I'll Google my name today. But that's not the answer we're looking for. Put their name into Google to see what comes up. Maybe that criminal history, who knows? Maureen, good morning.
Good morning.
What do you think people Google about their coworkers, Maureen?
Their wages.
Maureen, have you ever done something like that?
No, because I wouldn't know how to do that when I was working. I would know how to do it now, maybe, but no, I never did that.
Well, you know what, Maureen? You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. About 40% of people say they have Googled a coworker's salary. So there you go.
Yeah, because we're not all in unions and everybody making the same amount of money.
Sure.
And people work their way up and whatever, and you just wonder, like, are these people worth what they're making? But no, I've never done it.
All right, Maureen. Well, way to go. We now, everybody remember the name Maureen and praise her silently for the rest of the day. Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maureen. Bye-bye. Good to hear from you this morning. There you go. About 40% of people have Googled a coworker's salary. How would that even... If you try Googling Mike Farwell's salary, you're going to get a lot of empty responses. There's no salary to report over it. Well, they pay me a little bit. They pay me with the privilege of doing the job for them and occasional free meals at hockey games. That's how this thing works, okay? But yeah, 40% of people have Googled their coworkers' salaries. So there you go. The not $1 million question answered already this morning. Good job, Maureen. All right, I'm going to get you to the 570 News Center for an update. And then let's talk about lab dogs, but not Labradors, the dogs you rescue from a lab. What's it like having that dog then in your home? We'll hear the story next on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. It is hard not to get a spring into your step, even on this 1 millionth day of January. Is it still January, for crying out loud? Oh, my goodness gracious. But we are playing happy and or uplifting songs on the show today. Your All Request Friday theme, and both Avi and Ann wanted to hear Katrina and the Waves and some Walking on Sunshine. Your request is our command on an All Request Friday here on the show. We're going to spend some time here in our first conversation looking back on an issue that came to light several months ago in the London area. We've talked about on the show in the past, and we're bringing it forward again because there is a really interesting and I would say very happy outcome to at least part of this story. Nevis Illich is a mobilization manager with Animal Justice and joins us for the conversation. Nevis, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you very much for making the time and sharing this story in the op-ed that you used to share it. Before we get into your part in this, Nevis, can you remind us of what happened last summer at St. Joseph's Hospital in London? What was discovered there and what's the reaction been?
Yeah, well, we essentially had two whistleblowers come forward to expose secret dog experiments at St. Joseph's Hospital in London, Ontario, where these dogs were being forced to endure hours-long heart attacks before being killed and discarded like trash. After the story hit the media, we organized a vigil outside of the hospital and had over 100 people in attendance. And days after, the hospital announced that it would end those experiments on the dogs. I personally knew that I had to do more, so that's when I got in touch with the Beagle Alliance, which is the organization that originally offered to rehome those dogs from St. Joseph's Hospital. And that's how I ended up becoming a foster mom to a small beagle named Mack and eventually adopting him.
The scientific community has insisted that testing on animals like this is important for medical advances. What's your response to that?
You know, that's definitely true, but that's not the entire scientific community. There are some members of that community who insist, this is important research, we must do this. And then there are other members of that community who say the complete opposite, and they're saying that we are absolutely wasting our time using these animal models and that information just can't be translated into humans, and that we're falling behind as a country because other countries are actually investing money into those alternative models that are getting them better results.
So you mentioned, Nevis, that your participation in this vigil and your understanding of what was happening at St. Joseph's in London led you to get in touch with Beagle Alliance and adopt Mack. I can only imagine as a rescue dog parent myself, we still think that our dog is, I don't know what it was in her early formative weeks and months. She seems a little bit still on the skittish side, but she's fantastic overall. We love her to pieces. She's a great dog. I can only imagine the challenges that you must have faced with Mack, having rescued her from a laboratory.
Oh, my gosh. I remember, the car ride home with Mack, and he was just shaking nonstop in his crates. Shortly after, once we got home, we realized he was absolutely terrified of our building's elevator. He again shook and even urinated as soon as we stepped inside. I personally assumed that, the laboratory he was in clearly had an elevator. He didn't know how to go upstairs. He wasn't potty trained. He didn't know how to walk on a leash. Everything was completely new and in some cases very, very scary for him. But, what really touched my heart was how, despite all the fear and anxiety that he had, he also just approached every person, myself, my partner, our friends, even strangers on the sidewalk, with kindness, with curiosity. Like he is filled with love, and that's clearly what he thought the entire time that he was in a laboratory.
So what's the relationship like with Mack today? How well has he adapted to his new world with you?
Oh my gosh, it's incredible to see. He has, his soft bed that he sleeps in. He has his favorite toys. He gets along well with our dog and our cat. He goes to the dog park just like the other dogs, and he, gets the zoomies and runs around. He loves trying different foods. He's living his best life. And I also just love being able to tell his story because I find that so many people that we meet, in our neighborhood or at the dog park, like they are absolutely shocked when they find out that dogs are still even being used for research.
Any aggression on Mack's part when you first got him, Nevis?
No, and that was honestly one of my biggest fears. I thought, like, oh my God, what is this dog going to be like? You know, is he going to have nightmares? If I wake him, is he going to, bark and growl and try to attack me? You know, what's he going to be like with strangers or people who are maybe, dressed in a certain way or wearing masks? And there was none of that. Like, honestly, there was absolutely none of that. It's astonishing. He is completely just trusting and loving. And, in one way, it does make sense because I know that beagles are chosen and used as the main breed for animal testing because they are so forgiving and docile and they don't fight back.
What does this teach you about maybe beagles specifically, dogs generally, having had such success integrating Mack into your home after he was in the laboratory?
Yeah, a lot of these places, a lot of these laboratories, they say these dogs you can't rehome them. It's impossible. Like, they will never have a normal life. You can't, and that's why we must kill them. And it's taught me that is absolutely not the case. I've connected with other people, through the Beagle Alliance and through the community who have adopted and fostered these animals, and they have another side to their story, right? They're not just test subjects. They were never intended to be test subjects. They are so capable of being members of a family and giving and receiving love.
I love that you not only rescued Mack, but have had such success, and it's been such a happy partnership since he's arrived in your home. And the picture, by the way, that you shared along with your op-ed, I can't stop looking at it, Nevis. He's adorable.
Thank you. I'm so happy you like it.
I'm so happy that you took time to be with us on the show this morning. Thanks for the rescue and thanks for the conversation.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Nevis Illich is a mobilization manager with Animal Justice. She rescued Mack, who had spent the first 6 years of his life in a laboratory. And you would think, and you heard Nevis talk about that first car ride back home and how nervous Mack was, but it didn't take long. And still in the elevator of her building, there are some signs of that distress. Probably reminds Mack of a cage when he had been in there, etc. But just that unconditional love that you get from a dog. And I come to this from a very personal place because I am a dog person. I'm sorry if you're a cat person, I'm happy for you and your cats. I hope they don't kill you in the middle of the night because I'm always convinced that's what cats are doing. They're plotting their way to take over your home. But hey, as a dog person, and we've often wondered after we rescued Rosie from a dog rescue in St. Jacobs, just where she had been, what she had been through just in the early, because there still are some little teeny behaviors. She seems nervous and skittish a little bit. But anyway, the most kind and gentle and open-hearted dog. She's lovely, and we love having her in the house, as Nevis does with Mack. So there is life after the lab, not Labrador story, as in Labrador Retriever, but dogs rescued from laboratories after they have been used for experiments. And as you know, Ontario has introduced a bill to ban research testing on dogs and cats. And Animal Justice hopes that this becomes a template for the rest of the country. All right, just before our commercial break, it seems as though Preston Paul has got a lot of patience today, and I appreciate that. He's been waiting on the phone line, so let's go there quickly. Paul, good morning.
Good morning. Mike, how the heck are you?
Buddy, I'm doing all right. It's a Friday morning. It's a game day. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, the Leafs lose again, so what else is new, right?
You know what, Paul? We got a call yesterday, right at the beginning of the show, from a fellow by the name of Adam, and he said, Mike, I can't take it anymore. Like, you play this commercial on the station talking about this team, and you know what? I decided coming into work this morning, I'm with you, Adam. I'm with you, Paul. Like, let's just give up on the playoffs this year. It's over.
Yeah, I heard Adam yesterday. I had a good laugh over that. But can we make this winter just go away? I'll take a warm day with thunderstorms and 50-kilometer winds right now, and a pile of mosquitoes.
You know what, Paul? I'm with you. And I've been blamed for what we've been getting because it wasn't too long ago that I was saying, could it just snow, please? Because we were getting freezing rain and ice pellets and just a mess of everything. I'm like, can't it just snow? And then it snowed and snowed and snowed some more. So I was blamed for that. So yes, I'll join you in saying, bring on thunderstorms and mosquitoes. We're done with this winter.
I can't wait. And go Rangers, go, buddy.
All right, pal. Thanks for the call this morning.
You bet. Talk to you later.
You bet. Good to hear from you. We're all gathering around and sharing our misery with this miserable weather and our frustration as Leafs fans. Look, let's just give up the ghost. It's not going to happen this year, short of... it's a borderline miracle at this point. I should check out one of those sites that shows the odds of teams making the playoffs because there's a lot of teams between ours, the Leafs, and the playoff spot, even if you go on a magical run. It would have to be pretty darn magical. Not giving up on the team. They're still my team, but I don't think we're going to be seeing them play into April and May this year, which, to Paul's other point, good. We'll just go outside and enjoy the nice weather if it ever gets here. I don't know if you caught this yesterday. I know that Rob Snow touched on it during his show after I went off the air, because it wasn't long before I went off the air that this happened. But premiers meeting and David Eby, the premier of British Columbia. And by the way, I'll remind you, former Kitchener boy. That's right. Kitchener boy makes good out there on the left coast. Now the premier of the province of British Columbia. But he said something more than a little provocative upon news that a group of Alberta separatists, I might refer to them as a bunch of yahoos from Alberta, who had apparently taken their case for Alberta separatism to the United States, seeking financial assistance on the part of the U.S. government to help Alberta separate from Canada. And this is what British Columbia Premier David Eby had to say about that.
This is a country we have to fight for. There are lots of people who would like to take it from us. We need to express in this moment, especially when the country faces such a profound threat, we need to express that we will fight for this country, that we'll stand up for it, and that those who don't wish to, those who would solicit a foreign government to try to come in and take over our country or break it up, that's not part of our vision for Canada. That's not Canadian conduct, and in fact, I described it as an old-fashioned word because we haven't had to use it for a long time. In my opinion, that is treasonous activity, and it needs to be called out. It needs to be stopped.
In Premier Eby's opinion, that is treasonous activity. Too strong a word? Not strong enough? Does it fit the bill? Always happy to hear your thoughts on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Tonight, I'm gonna have myself a real good time. I feel alive. And the world, I'm turning inside out. Yeah. I'm floating around in ecstasy. So don't stop me now. Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time, having a good time. Shooting stars.
That is, by request from Heather, Farwell's Force member number 92, Queen's Don't Stop Me Now, on this All Request Friday. Happy or uplifting songs edition. That's the one that Heather wanted to hear. I don't think the Premier of British Columbia is happy at all. He described the actions of a group of Albertans, I'm calling them a group of yahoos, who took their case for separation from Canada to the United States, seeking some financial assistance for Alberta's ultimate separation from our federation here in Canada. And BC Premier David Eby referred to that as treason and was asked about it following a meeting with his fellow premiers, and he repeated why he thinks this is treasonous activity.
This is a country we have to fight for. There are lots of people who would like to take it from us. We need to express in this moment, especially when the country faces such a profound threat, we need to express that we will fight for this country, that we'll stand up for it, and that those who don't wish to, those who would solicit a foreign government to try to come in and take over our country or break it up. That's not part of our vision for Canada. That's not Canadian conduct. And in fact, I described it as an old-fashioned word because we haven't had to use it for a long time. In my opinion, that is treasonous activity, and it needs to be called out. It needs to be stopped.
I recognize that you're trying to get some attention here when you use a word like treason, but I don't think he's all that far off, if I'm being honest with you, that going to seek another country's financial assistance to help you separate from the country where you are, I think that does border on treason. Our phone lines are always open. Let's go there now. DJ, good morning.
Good morning. So I was listening to what you were saying, and I sort of do agree with him. It is treasonous. Because what else could you call it? I mean, like, there's a ton of people that are always going to be upset, and there's always going to be people that's wanting to pick a fight with Ottawa or pick a fight with any part of the government system, whether it be, provincial or municipal or federal. But I mean, like, you can't always blame them for all the problems. The one thing that we do have to think about is, what can you do to better the system? And a lot of people that you hear on the radio now is always, Ottawa's screwed over Alberta. Alberta is a great province. Alberta has a lot of natural resources, and they have a lot going for them, too. And they want to look past all these things and then say, well, we're not getting treated properly, let's go to another place. If you want to go to another place, go to another place. Don't try to wreck what everybody else has just because you're unhappy about it.
DJ, appreciate the call and the thoughts on that. And I feel similarly to DJ in all of this. When you consider Alberta as a province, I'm not so sure I buy into, and I'm not an Albertan. I'm the furthest thing from here in the center of the universe, Southern Ontario, right? But I think the Alberta grievances are somewhat overplayed here when it comes to their role in our federation. Heck, we built them a pipeline not all that long ago. I know there's some grievances that go back to Pierre Trudeau almost 50 years ago now, but this is a long time ago. And Alberta has done nothing but prosper in all of the time since. And remember also, and this is where I'm kind of leaning Premier David Eby's way here when it comes to the characterization of this behavior as treasonous activity. I've heard the comparisons made, well, Quebec, and we've even had referendums, plural, to have Quebec separate from Canada. Yes, but at no time did anybody from Quebec seek the financial assistance of another nation in order to do that, right? Leaders back in the day in Quebec would talk to business people in the United States, particularly, just letting them know that, look, if we separate, it's business as usual. All of the companies that you're invested in are still going to be there, this, that, the other thing. They never asked Washington for financial assistance. So this, to me, is dramatically different. Seeking the support of another nation to abdicate from your own. If it's not treasonous, it certainly is moving in that direction. My 2 cents on it. I'm going to get you an update from the 570 News Center, and then how do you relocate an escape room? We'll find out next on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. It is an all request Friday here on the show, as it is every Friday. And this week's theme is happy or uplifting songs. And Russell wanted to hear REM and Shiny Happy People. So there you go, Russell. Requests all day long here on the show with the happy or uplifting theme. In-studio guests are some of my very favorite guests, and I'm joined this morning by Wendy Lockie and Jess Malcolm, the co-owners of KW Escape. Wendy, nice to see you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us here.
It's an absolute pleasure. And Jess, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, Wendy, let me start with you. A new location from Conestoga Drive or Road in Waterloo, and now onto Gage Avenue in Kitchener for KW Escape.
Yeah, it's a big move.
It is a big move. So tell me a little bit about the new space on Gage Avenue.
Yeah, we have 20,000 square feet there. It's a pretty big place. We have 11 games running there now and room for 22. So lots more to come yet. So we're pretty excited.
Now, Jess, I can only imagine the logistics that are involved in the relocation of an escape room, because as someone who has played in these before, they're pretty intricate. There's a lot that goes into just creating one, and now you've relocated all of it. What's this process been like for you?
Yeah, it was chaos. So we actually took possession of our new location July 2024, and it took until December 2024 for the city to approve our building permit. We built all of the walls ourselves and got everything ready in under a month, painted everything, and then started moving end of January, and somehow managed to get everything done by the 18th of February. It was chaos.
What kinds of hours are you putting in daily to make that happen? Like, you must be there pretty much nonstop.
Yeah, I mean, during the move process, we were there at 7 a.m. until 1 in the morning. We went home and slept, and then we came back and did it again for about 2 weeks straight. We did that. We had a pretty good team of our staff helping us as well when they could, between school and exams and everything.
So if once you relocate from the Waterloo location to where you are on Gage Avenue now in Kitchener, do all the same game rooms still exist? Do they just get transferred over?
Yeah, so we moved all of the games that we had originally over to the new spot. We had to change one or two to fit the new space because we custom design all our games to fit the space. So we tweaked a few things to make them a little bit different and opened a new game as well in the new space. So we're excited for what's to come.
Wendy, if I remember correctly from when I first played at KW Escape, you design all of these yourselves, yes?
Yeah, we just have those kind of brains that think of those weird kind of things, and we try to go a little bit above and beyond and bring in props, I guess, for lack of better words, that are a little bit more immersive, I guess. Like, we have a real fire truck in one of our games, and we're just about to launch a new game that has the front end, a cockpit of a 727 plane. So we just try to really make them very real, reality kind of games. So,
what was it that drew you into this kind of work?
I think we just really love escape rooms. It's kind of a passion for both of us, and I think we're going on 500 games that we've played ourselves. So it's just, we want to bring that to people in the area because it's so much fun to do. So
absolutely,
yeah.
You know, Jess, what's the secret to making an escape room, challenging yet enjoyable for the people that come in?
Yeah, I'd say we're a little different than a lot of other escape room companies. Since we've played so many games, we've kind of noticed a lot of companies will have fewer puzzles, but they will be very difficult, which is fine if you can ask for help, but a lot of people don't want help. So we design our games with more puzzles that are a little bit easier, because then everyone gets that aha moment over and over and over again in our games. And I think that really is what makes a great escape room, and we really try to put that into all of our games.
It's funny that you say that, because we were just chatting off the air before we started. And the last time we had a chance to play in an escape room, it was on a little vacation, and they had one on site. And it was it was almost frustrating, if I'm being perfectly honest. And I'm not trying, look, they were not even in town, so I'm not giving anybody a bad name here. But having played at KW Escape before, those aha moments, that's what feeds you, doesn't it? And keeps you going.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We find like we have some games that have almost 50 puzzles in them. So it's almost a puzzle a minute that you're solving. And by the end, people are like, oh my gosh, there were so many things for us to do. So everyone's very excited by the end of the game. And I think having that unlimited hint system and making it so that it's possible to solve is really, really important because you're much happier when you escape.
Absolutely. And at least even if you don't ultimately get out of the room, you've solved some puzzles along the way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I was watching some of the things that you've done on the Facebook page. I mean, how do you continue to come up with these ideas and create the magic in these spaces?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we've just played a lot of escape rooms, so we have quite a bit of experience of things that we really enjoyed in escape rooms and the idea of how we could make a concept like that work for our space. We get a lot of ideas from friends, and there's a lot of groups of owners across North America and really the whole world. And we kind of are a big community that shares a lot of ideas. So that's really helpful. But really, I think it's just we have those brains that know how to create fun things, and we know what we think would be cool. It just sucks for us because we never get to play our own games.
Yeah. Well, you already know the way out, right?
Yes, exactly.
For sure. Wendy, who's the audience these days? I know businesses like to come in and have team building experiences. People use it for parties, etc.
Yeah, we do have a lot of corporate team building coming. Different companies bring in, but I think it's a really big audience. Like we've got families that come in even with 8 and 10-year-olds, and then all the way up to older families with. I think the oldest gentleman we had play our games was 91 years old.
Wow.
So it's quite a range of ages. It's kind of a fun for all sort of thing, bachelorette parties and birthdays come off, and bachelor parties. I can think of other events, like any kind of retirement parties, those type of things. It's good for everybody to get involved because you're working together. It's not like you're sitting in a movie and not talking to the person you're with. You're actually engaging and working together. It really makes for a real bonding time, and nobody's on their phones, which is very cool. So
I love that part of it. How excited are you when you think about the possibilities in this new space?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's got room for lots more. Wow, it's we've already got plans for them. We've got a boat for the one that's coming up, and we're very excited to get building all the new places. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
Jess, I know from a previous conversation that we've had that you also really try to stay integrated in the community and got involved in a fundraiser in the past as well. How important is that to you as a co-owner at KW Escape to make sure that you're also supporting our community?
Yeah, I'd say it's really important. We do, usually we do like a monthly kind of activity in the escape room, and in December, we'll do a toy drive. In August, we do a school supply drive. So we like to do those things where, like, if you are coming to our escape room, you're definitely able to bring those donations to us, and then we will facilitate handing them off to the charitable company that might need them. But yeah, recently we did the Witch's Lair escape room, and that was a huge hit. We're definitely thinking we'll be doing something like that again. We're not sure if we're going to pair with Agnes or if it's going to be something we'll be able to do where we have the proceeds of one game go to a charity in a specific month. But we do think it's really important because we're definitely a community partner, and we want to be involved in the community.
How do people find you?
Oh, man, Google. But yeah, our website's kwescape.ca, and you can follow us on Instagram or Facebook, and we post as much as we can on there and get to know what we're doing. Yeah.
I really enjoyed watching some of that behind the scenes stuff on the social media channels. So keep that up, because I think it really, encouraged me to go and check this out then in person after seeing it online. So it's a great story. I love to see the continued growth. Wendy, were you saying 11 years now?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been 11 years.
When you open the door to that first place, 11 years ago.
I would never have thought that we would be sitting here with a space of 20,000 square feet. And it's really a great thing to be doing this with my daughter as well. So that's kind of a really nice perk of it all as well. So,
well, keep it up, and we'll look forward to the continued success. Thanks both for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Wendy Lockey and Jess Malcolm joining us, co-owners at KW Escape. The site is kwescape.ca, and check out the socials too. Lots of fun on there as you see a little bit of what goes into creating these experiences for us when we visit KW Escape. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
It might seem crazy wearing stripes of pride. I Instagram every meal I've had. All my used liquor bottles are on display. We can go to see a show, but I'll make you pay. Because I'm tacky. Wear my belts with suspenders and sandals with my socks.
That is none other than Weird Al. Does he still go by the Yankovic part, or is he just Weird Al now? Which reminds me of one of our upcoming All Request Fridays. At some point, we will do those one-named singers. Weird Al wouldn't count because that's two, right? But just known as Weird Al. But I remember vividly his earliest days. Weird Al Yankovic was the full name. And I was never a big fan. I took my music far too seriously. Look, I've taken myself far too seriously for most of my life. I probably still do. I don't know. You can be the judge of that. I try to take myself much less seriously these days, but I certainly took both myself and my music far too seriously to really get into the whole Weird Al Yankovic phenomenon back in the day. My brother loved him some Weird Al, and I think in part he loved Weird Al so much because it annoyed me so much. Just like he was a Dallas Cowboys fan, so I chose the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was a Los Angeles Lakers fan, so I chose the Boston Celtics. You see how this works. Anyway, it's an All Request Friday here on the show, and Derek wanted to hear Tacky, the riff on Happy by Weird Al on this All Request Friday. Fridays are not only All Request shows, music-wise, where we'll play your requests under the theme, and the theme this week is happy or uplifting songs. But it means our Friday 4 roundtable discussion of the week's big stories. So that's coming up for you between 11 and noon. We will talk about that terrible tragedy on the flyover. We'll talk about the Ontario PC convention this weekend that media is not allowed to attend. Of course, we'll talk about Minneapolis and ICE, and we'll get into some international politics as well, looking at the United States. So all of that from 11 until noon today. And of course, noon until 1, Free Phones Friday, where we open the phone lines and hear directly from you on the show. But the phone lines are open throughout the show, and Mike is with us this morning on the phone. I'm trying to pull out my list here, Mike. Farwell's Force member number 369?
Yes, sir, it is.
Wait a minute. Is this Mike B?
Yep.
I have you down as 396.
That's right, sir. That's the number.
Okay, 396.
Good Chevy engine back in the day.
Yeah, okay. I remember the 396, sure.
Yep, so, 396, 454s. Used to drive those back when I was younger, dude.
I like it.
Good morning, Mike. How are you doing today?
I'm just fine. What's on your mind?
Well, first time calling. As you know, I'm a Farwell force for good and common sense, which is eroding these days. Anyway, I really enjoy your show, Mike. Topics you entertain, the spin you put on things, this good common sense approach, and the respect you have for your community and your callers. Kudos to you, bud.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Also, just want to say I appreciate the 570 team with the reports, updates, and weather, traffic, markets, and breaking news. It's a really good platform. And for my All Request Fridays, for happy and uplifting songs, I say, how about the old Doobie Brothers? Listen to the music.
That's a good one.
Yeah, what the people need is a way to make them smile. Because it seems like everything is getting wrought and ballooning with issues, poor leaderships and on all levels and globally. So keep up the great work, Mike, and good for the Rangers. Keep it going.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate the call. Listen, it is, and I've said this before, and I think we know this, it is far easier, or it's far more common for folks to phone up and complain about something, isn't it? And Mike decided, as a new Farwell's Force member, number 396, we added him a week or two ago. Anyway, that he wanted to call up and praise the work that we're doing here at 570 News Radio. I'm here for it. You can criticize too. I understand that we're not perfect. It's certainly not yours truly. So whatever it is, we're always happy to hear from you. That's a very nice call. And by the way, if you want to be a member of Farwell's Force, it's really easy. All you have to do is listen for 15 minutes. I do stipulate that it must be 15 minutes every day. But whatever 15 minutes you choose, even if you do it in 2 7.5-minute chunks, I'd prefer 15 minutes straight. I mean, you can do that, right? It's not too hard. But anyway, 15 minutes a day, and you are welcome to join our growing force for good, force for change, force to be reckoned with. That's what Farwell's Force is all about. And we are well into the 300s now. We are a growing force in this community. Mike was talking about needing that smile on your face. I like to remind you every day, at least once a day, that not everybody is a jackwagon. And so your story to that effect today comes straight from Antigonish, Nova Scotia. You might remember our Not Everybody is a Jackwagon story from a week or so ago. A billionaire in a Colorado town bought an apartment building for about $100 million and then fixed it up and re-rented it at affordable or market rates in the community so that people who were living and working in that Colorado town could afford to live in that same town. Well, guess what? Antigonish, Nova Scotia has the same kind of people, but they're not billionaires. Amy Hendricks and her husband, Paul Davey, just recently moved to Antigonish, and they both work in medicine, healthcare, and they had this idea that they should put a medical clinic on the first floor of their new home. So they look around and they try to find the right place, and finally they find the place that they need, and it's going to work out perfectly. Medical clinic on the first floor of their new home. But this home just happened to be on 46 acres of property at the foot of Sugarloaf Mountain in Antigonish. And not only could they put a medical clinic on the main floor and have their living quarters above and still walk to the nearest hospital, everything was working out great. Then they looked around and said, well, wait a minute. We've got these 46 acres. I mean, this is an awful lot of wasted space if we don't put it to good use. Enter the Antigonish Affordable Housing Society. And Paul and Amy make a call to them, and wouldn't you know, they put this all together, and they have created the Sugarloaf development of affordable, attainable housing in Antigonish. 54 homes are being built for the first phase of development. Estimated opening is next year. And Paul and Amy say now people that work in the hospital or visit our clinic can afford to live in this same rural community of Antigonish where they work. All because Amy and Paul had 46 acres and said, it's too much just for us. Let's get to work with the Affordable Housing Society and make something work for the entire community. Just a reminder that not everybody is a jackwagon. If you know somebody who's not a jackwagon, let me know by sending me an email to mike@570news.com. We'll share their story too. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. It is Friday morning, game day, baby, because Fridays are hockey days in Kitchener. And ahead of the big game tonight, we are always joined by the head coach this morning. UC Ahokas joins us for the weekly coaches show. Good morning, UC.
Good morning.
The 8-game winning streak comes to an end in Owen Sound on Wednesday night. I know you want to win every night, but are there sometimes, is there a good thing that can come out of a loss like that, just to remind you that there are no easy nights in this league?
Yeah, of course, we know that. I thought third period, I didn't like the end, how we played, and of course, scoring, we should have been better at scoring, but otherwise, sometimes those games, their goalie played a great game, and that happens once in a while, but yeah, of course, you're not happy you're never happy when you lose.
It is still an 11-game point streak. The team has been on quite the run. What is it that's been making you successful for this last month?
I think boys are committed. Of course, now we have our adds to the team were really good. So we have a good team, but all in all, boys are committed to play our style and defend and battle hard, and I think when you do that, that's when good things happen and you win games.
You talk about those new players on the team: Dylan Edwards, Gabe Sherratt, Sam O'Reilly, Jared Woolley. Matt Andonovski comes back, but he knew a little bit about the Kitchener Rangers, obviously. But how do you work those new players into your systems and into your culture in Kitchener?
Of course, they're good kids. Also, they're easy fit for the team. All in all, just to get them know our systems and how we operate here. But it's more talk and just living by, and just being together. We had a couple road trips, and boys get to know each other. And all in all, we had those two weeks where we had only 2 games, so we got to practice also a lot. So I think the boys have got in really good to our team, and that's I think nothing special, but just doing daily the things, and they're learning how we operate and what we expect over here in Kitchener.
It's been the opposite of those 2 weeks where you had just the one game and lots of practice time recently, because you've been playing so many games. Tonight will be the 5th game in 8 days for the club. How difficult is it to keep things going in the right direction when you don't have that practice time, you see?
Well, it's video, recovery, but then also now it's time when we play a lot, so you just have to be ready for the games, and then the rest recovery part, that's huge because we play so much.
I know, because we've talked about this before, that you have always believed this team would be where it is right now, and that's right at the top of the Western Conference. How does it feel being the team that other teams are chasing now instead of the one trying to catch up?
No, it's a good situation. Last year it was also we were in the top of the standings, but I think more. I don't think about that way. Like, if we do our process well and we do things right, then you have a chance to be at the top, and we just have to keep going. Still a lot of games left, so I'm not really still kind of thinking about the standings. Of course, we want to be as high as possible, and now it's a good stretch. Is it 21 games more, or what is it? And then we'll see where we are.
Of the 5 games in the past 8 days, tonight is certainly the biggest, with the Windsor Spitfires coming to Kitchener, and this is one of the other teams right there at the top. What do you have to do to be successful against Windsor tonight?
Well, we have to shoot more. I think we have to have more shooter mentality today. We've been a little bit looking for the perfect pass, perfect chance, a little bit more shots, getting more traffic, and then against them, they're a good defensive team, so you have to get pucks behind them, and you really have to forecheck hard and win your net front battles.
Always fun to be at the rink on a Friday night. We'll see you there, UC. Thank you for this.
Thank you. See you there.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
UC Ahokas, the head coach of the Kitchener Rangers, joins us every Friday morning, 10:30, for the Coaches Show. It's a big one, eh? Tonight, Like, are you looking as forward to the game as I am and have been really since this 5 games in 8 day stretch began, right? Last Friday night, that's fine. Owen Sound comes to town. That's great. Then Saturday, we go to Erie. Okay, that's fine. Then Sarnia comes to town. Sure, let's just play against Sarnia. Then we go to Owen Sound. Okay, let's play Owen Sound again. But here we are against the Windsor Spitfires. And part of this 11-game point streak for the Kitchener Rangers was a win over the Windsor Spitfires. We faced them for the first time in mid-January, the first time of the year. So tonight, and then still 2 more games against Windsor. And really, most of the year, Windsor has been at the top of the Western Conference. Flint came on like a bat out of Hades through November and into December, and they've been flip-flopping with Windsor at the top of the Western Conference. But that was a team that we've been watching. That Windsor team, that's a really good team. And we got our first chance to play against them in their barn a couple of weeks ago. Was it just last Wednesday, actually? My gosh, I think it was. Look, there's been a lot of hockey. Nonetheless, we go to Windsor and come back in the third period to force overtime and then win it in overtime. So Windsor's going to have that on their minds tonight. It's up to the Kitchener Rangers to show that they still belong at the top of the table. And wouldn't you know, as I look at last night's scoreboard in the Ontario Hockey League, 3 games, the Niagara Ice Dogs do the Kitchener Rangers a bit of a favor, if you want to put it that way. The Ice Dogs win their 3rd in a row, 6-3 over Sault Ste. Marie. I say a bit of a favor because the Hounds had won 8 in a row, and they were not that close to Kitchener, but look, they're a force in the Western Conference standing. So anytime they don't get points is a good thing. Keeps that cushion between Kitchener and Sault Ste. Marie. But the Ice Dogs double up the Greyhounds 6-3. Peterborough beats Sudbury 4-1. And then those Windsor Spitfires at home to North Bay. The Spits pick up a 4-3 win. So what does that mean? That means the Windsor Spitfires are back on top of the Western Conference standings, 1 point ahead of your Kitchener Rangers. The Rangers got 1 point in their loss in overtime in Owen Sound on Wednesday, but the Rangers are once again chasing the Spits. Windsor has 68 points. Kitchener has 67. Flint has 66 points. And all 3 of those teams have played 47 games on the season. So this is where we're at. Same number of games. The Rangers have been playing so many games in this last stretch that they were making up some games in hand this week, and they made very good use of those games in hand to get right up to the top of the conference, and now 1 point behind Windsor, same number of games played. We obviously know what that means for the game tonight. Important points are on the line. And by the way, every team in the league is playing tonight. It is a 10-game Ontario Hockey League schedule tonight. So we're going to know even more about those standings by the time the game is done tonight. Windsor in Kitchener, and Flint is at home to the Barrie Colts. The Colts are a very good team in the Eastern Conference, so we'll see how that all works out. But after Windsor at 68 points, Kitchener at 67 and Flint at 66. The Sioux Greyhounds are there at 60 points. That could have been 62, but they lost last night. The Sioux Greyhounds did in Niagara. So that's the way the West looks over in the East. Brantford continues to set the pace with 71 points, but the Ottawa 67s also with 71 points on the season. And Barrie right in there with 66 in the Eastern Conference. Hottest team in the Ontario Hockey League right now is your Kitchener Rangers with that 11-game point streak that they will put on the line tonight at home to the Windsor Spitfires. Looking at the scoring leaders in the OHL, it probably doesn't surprise you that when the Ranger team is going as good as it's going, you've got Ranger players right up near the top of those statistical categories. Kieran Walton and Nathan Aspinall. Kieran Walton plays for Peterborough, traded from Sudbury. Nathan Aspinall plays for Flint. They've both got 62 points to lead the OHL. But right behind them, Jack Pridham of your Kitchener Rangers with 61 points. Christian Humphreys is 6th in scoring with 58 points. And Dylan Edwards, traded from Erie to Kitchener, is sitting 12th in points with 55. So a bunch of Rangers. 12th place in points for Dylan Edwards, only 7 off the league lead. These Rangers are putting up some points. Pridham also has 31 goals. That's the second most in the league. Merrick Van Acker of the Brantford Bulldogs has 34 goals. And Christian Humphreys has 42 assists. And Humphreys has been kind of playing leapfrog with Carson Woodall of the Windsor Spitfires for the lead in assists this season. They both have 42, so we'll get to see Woodall and Humphreys on the ice tonight at the Memorial Auditorium, both with 42 assists. We'll see if one of them comes out with the assists lead by the time the game is done. And by the way, Christian Humphreys also happens to have a 13-game point streak going. 20 points over that stretch. 21 now? But anyway, Humphreys is humming as he and the Kitchener Rangers take on the Windsor Spitfires tonight at the Memorial Auditorium. As you know, your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey has everything you need, starting with the Harris Law pregame show. Josh Piercy and I will bring you that before the puck drop tonight. Then all of the action. We'll keep you up to date on all of those out-of-town scores because, again, there will be 9 other games being played. The most important one, that Flint game, but we'll keep you up to date on all of that. And then Josh and I stay around late after every home game to take your calls on Rangers Talk. That's what makes this your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. So join us starting with the Harris Law pregame show tonight at 6:30. Rangers and Spitfires at the Memorial Auditorium. A quick break. When we come back, there's another local team that plays at the Memorial Auditorium. It's your KW Titans. They've got one home game this weekend, and it's the Black History Month celebration on Sunday as the Titans take on the Lake Erie Jackals. We'll talk about it coming up on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. It's almost cruel to play the Beach Boys when we're being warned of wind chill values around minus 30. But we're trying to think warmer thoughts, happier thoughts on this All Request Friday. Happy or uplifting songs edition. And Mike, Farwell's Force member number 10, wanted to hear that one. So it's an All Request Friday. That's how it works. You make the request, we play it. The theme this week is happy or uplifting songs. Looking ahead to Sunday at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium, after tonight's game, the Kitchener Rangers taking on the Windsor Spitfires, the Lake Erie Jackals will be at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium to take on your KW Titans. And the co-owner of the team, David Schooley, joins us this morning. David, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, you know what? I'm always good. This is not cold. I went to school in Thunder Bay for 2 years. That's cold.
I worked up there, too. I know that pain indeed. And I know you're always good, too. It's great to get you on the show. And David brings with him this morning KW Titans guard Antoine Mason. Antoine, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks very much for coming on the show. And I wanted to start, Antoine. I mean, your dad had a 13-year NBA career. I think you must have... were you born with a basketball in your hands or what?
Pretty much. I always tell people Madison Square Garden is my second home because I was there every single game.
So what did you learn being around the game like that you bring into being a professional player with the KW Titans today?
Hard work. I was blessed enough to watch certain practices, just being around my dad and giving me insight of the game. So hard work, fundamentals, and, just having that work ethic of trying to get better every day.
This is your second year now with the Titans. What do you think of the Basketball Super League and the opportunity it provides you and what fans can experience?
This league is competitive. It has a lot of talent. It gives you opportunities. It opens up doors for, other endeavors, other leagues. The fans, every time they come, they're going to see excitement, a lot of good, talented basketball players. You're going to see a lot of hard defense, physicality. It provides everything.
David, this weekend, it also provides the celebration of Black History Month. I know that you have done this with the Titans before, and it falls right on the 1st of February when we launch Black History Month.
Yes, it's perfect timing. It's absolutely perfect timing for us to go out and celebrate our athletes, right? I mean, we're so privileged. Antoine, you know what? Antoine has had an amazing career. And a lot of people don't know this, but I think right about when Antoine was coming into the league, he played with Coach Cliff, which is interesting because as Cliff was, sunsetting and getting ready to come into coaching. But we're so proud to be celebrating Black History Month on Sunday. We've got a lot of special organizations and groups coming. The Caravana Ignite will be there. Adventure for Change, Afro Family. So there'll be a lot going on Sunday.
Antoine, what's that like playing for a guy that you used to play with?
It's like a full circle. He was pretty much a coach when I was playing with him. He always gave his insight. He was our point guard, so he was, like the general on the court. So I feel like the transition was easy. It felt weird to call him coach at first because, I'm just used to calling him Cliff. But, it worked out smooth. The transition was really good last year and this year.
You guys, Antoine, sitting in second place behind the Sudbury Five. And I know I think you're the team that handed them their only loss so far this season, but you're a couple games behind. What's it going to take for the Titans to catch up to those five, Antoine?
Just take it game by game. We can't, look into the future about records. But as long as we take it game by game and get better every game and, get the wins, it'll handle itself.
David, I know that you keep a close eye on these things, and the goal, of course, is to build a champion here in Kitchener. What's it going to take?
Well, interestingly enough, we have a new player starting. Do we not, Antoine?
Mm-hmm.
That you played with previously, I think, right? So you know what? Yep. We're over a third of the way into the season, and we've only made one change. So our squad is tough and tight, and we're bringing in a new player for Sunday. Antoine, can you tell us a little bit about JD?
JD, he's a athletic guard. Really could pressure people on defense. Gets to the paint, can hit the open shot. He fits well with us because he's a big guard that could, switch on to different positions. I enjoyed playing with him when I was with the Tundra 2 years ago. It's funny because we actually pretty much talk every day. So when I heard he was coming, I got excited.
I love that. And David, you go out and find the best players that you can to keep this Titans team competitive.
Cliff, I would love to claim credit for that, but that is Coach Cliff, 100% all the way. We chat, we talk about things, but Cliff is the guy that is connected in the community. So when we need an extra set of hands, he's the one that picks them. And I think our stats this year are showing we have the best team we've ever had on the court.
8-3 out of the gates, a third of the way through the season. Looking forward to that tip-off against Lake Erie Sunday at 3. David, thank you for this, and Antoine, keep up the great work.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Antoine Mason. Yep.
Yeah. Please come out and celebrate with us Black History Month, and we're going to have the Caravana dancers there. It's going to be exciting. Our show during the day and in between halftime is going to be outstanding.
It always is. Thanks as always, David.
Take care, Mike. Thanks, Antoine.
David Schooley, the co-owner of the KW Titans, along with guard Antoine Mason. It's the Titans and the Lake Erie Jackals, Sunday at 3 at the Memorial Auditorium. This is the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
I played a wedding for the money, and I wished I could have told the bride and groom just what I think of marriage and what's in store after their honeymoon. And I was grumbling to the dancers about how men and women ought to live apart, how a promise never made cannot be broken and can never break a heart.
As Dance Little Jean, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, by request for Suzanne on this All Request Friday Happy or Uplifting Songs edition. Fridays also mean our Friday 4 Roundtable panel discussion of the week's big stories, and the panel has assembled. Welcome back to our panel, Fawzia Mazar, Executive Director of the Coalition of Muslim Women KW. Fawzia, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. Very long time no see, I should say.
It's been far too long. I'm so glad to have you back on this panel with us. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
David Drew is here as well, owner Negotiating Change, Government Relations, Stakeholder Engagement Strategies, host of Drew's Views, Monday mornings here on the show. Double duty for you this week, David. Good morning.
I had the best juxtaposition as this started. It felt like we were going to be starting an action movie with that Friday 4 intro, and then all of a sudden we went to this nitty-gritty dirt brand, light country music. It was like, whoa.
It is quite the juxtaposition. And from one Dave to another, Jaworski, the former mayor of Waterloo and now pickleball champion. Good morning, Dave.
Good to see you, Mike. And I hope to have an update with the push-up challenge starting in February. I know you were fond of your push-ups, but I haven't heard much about them lately. So maybe next week, next month, we can get an update on that.
We are all signed up for the push-up challenge, and you will be getting regular updates, you sneaky devil, you. Absolutely. Okay, let's get into our conversations, and the one that still is dominating conversation around the region is what it was that happened on our flyover Monday morning. We know it ended in tragedy, and Fawzia, I'll start with you on this one. What is your take on what we witnessed on the flyover earlier this week?
I wanted to be on the back seat today in this classroom so that you don't start with me, but you did it anyway. Okay. So that is really such a big tragedy, honestly. And to start with, I think we're hearing things now, for example, sort of putting it back to the driver about the driving and all of that stuff. And I understand that things can go wrong. Like that flyover has always been scary for me until I drove, especially during wintertime. And I remember the other flyover that I remember is on 401 that I used to take to go to Brampton. That's also very long, never ending. And both of them have sharp curves. So anyone who is responsible for the upkeep of the flyover would know that the risks are very high when people are driving in this condition. And I think what happened at 2 a.m. was a good signal for some reason that got missed. And then we saw that tragedy where this pretty young woman actually lost her life and whatnot. So I feel like the authorities who were responsible for snow clearing has some responsibility. And we have definitely seen the challenge with harsh winter conditions this time. We understand salt shortages and everything, but in the end, the risk for the cars to skid on a flyover like this, very, very high. And then when you make a ramp with the snow on the side, on our own street, the larger street, the main street. I think the city plows were in last night, and they actually took a lot of snow and they cut it now. So it's not like before, not like the ramp anymore. So really, I think that there was an oversight, and I can understand everything, the reason for it. It probably never happened before, and hopefully it will never happen again. But I think it's time to take responsibility, learn from it at least, and understand that this is a big tragedy that has hit this family and also, community in general. It's scary.
That snow sure got cleared quickly after the second car went over. Yep. David Drew, your thoughts?
I think that if the fatality had been the first incident, the second one would not have happened. The highway would have been closed at that point, and that's reasonable and fair. I'm not saying they should have done it right away. I grew up in Sudbury, and one of the times I was driving back to UW, it was horrible winter storm, and I was doing 20 under the limit, and I went around this very gentle curve on Highway 69, and all of a sudden my back end had passed my front end, and I'm off the road in a ditch. When the police officer pulled over, he asked me a couple questions, and then I saw him writing down too fast for conditions, and I was all grouchy at him. And then 2 minutes later, before he'd gone away, exact same spot, about 20 feet away from us, there's another car in the ditch. He walks over, checks it on that guy, but before he even has a chance to write anything down, another car comes down. So he just goes up to his car and he's like, yeah, can we get some Sanders on the road, please? And I'm telling that anecdote just because it's not such a linear thing where you see one accident and you automatically assume, oh my gosh, this is a trouble spot. Because when it happened to me, the cop was very reasonable in saying, looking around, going, there was no reason for this. I don't see horrible conditions. It's a snowstorm, but there was something at that corner or that curve, gentle curve, where 3 cars in a row went off. I don't know exactly what went wrong with this, but I do recall that day they were telling us don't drive. Maybe we should have listened a bit more. I'm living out here in Wellesley now, and I am all of a sudden respecting the snow warnings a heck of a lot more. When they say don't drive, I really take their word for it now.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. Monday morning was a full-fledged school closure day, not just transportation, but the schools themselves. Dave Jaworski, your thoughts?
Well, I'll echo what Fauzia said. This is an absolute tragedy to lose a young lady in our community over a traffic accident where, obviously after the fact, certainly it was foreseen what could have happened there. But, I think there's a theme in all 4 of your questions today, Mike, and it's about accessible government and getting answers. And I bet you if Mark Douglas or Christine Clark put in a call to the Ministry of Transportation to get some answers, I bet you it was met with a busy signal or no answer. It's really hard to get answers from larger levels of government. And you'll see that theme in here today. As Fazia mentioned, driving in Toronto, you think about the ramp of the 427. Every now and then, a truck will fall over that ramp, and so it's not like we don't have any flyovers in Ontario. And just as we have minimum maintenance standards for snow for municipalities in Ontario, it makes you wonder that the flyovers that could have been foreseen in Ontario, that we actually have snow, that the snow piles up and eventually has to be snow lifted out and removed, and which is what they did. This is 2026. It's not the first time we've seen this, so I'm not sure. Certainly, we want to make sure it's prevented going forward, but it's almost like, do we have to issue a Freedom of Information Act to request to find out more information about what they were thinking here? We saw maybe it's because of the outsource. For many, many years, the snow plowing has been outsourced, and maybe that information just doesn't get to the Ministry of Transportation because it's being done to the standards that was requested, but not recently foreseen that we'd have that much snow on a flyover and causing a ramp situation. And we have to remember that the first person who was impacted by that was actually a professional driver, a taxi driver. And I take great thought in what professional taxi drivers or truck drivers go through and their adeptness at driving continuously. And to say that it impacted a professional driver first is certainly something in my books that would be something that would flag it to say something needs to be done here.
Good reminder that this is a part of a highway that is under provincial jurisdiction, and the Ministry of Transportation of Ontario has been quiet on this. The statement just being, hey, we're waiting for the investigation and looking at our snow clearing procedures. So we'll wait for anything further to come from the MTO on that. But no question, a terrible tragedy in the community this week that certainly has people talking about what went wrong. We'll take a quick break. To Dave Jaworski's point just now, the accessible level of government, that's your local government. And Cambridge City government has been getting an earful thanks to their digital villains that have been appearing, these AI-generated cartoon characters that are reminding us of our winter responsibilities and telling us what the city has been doing in this harsh winter. How do we feel about these digital creations? We'll talk about it with our Friday 4 Roundtable as we continue on the Mike Farwell Show this morning. David Drew is already smiling. He's going to go first, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. I mean, you had to know that when we're doing an all request Friday of happy songs, Happy itself will appear on our list. Pharrell Williams by request from Ron, Farwell's Force member number 32, and Jeff also, Farwell's Force member number 313, wanted to hear Happy by Pharrell. There you go. On your All Request Friday Happy Songs edition. I just got happier looking at our Friday 4 Roundtable because David Drew panned his camera over to show us his dog. Is that Banjo?
That's Lucy.
Lucy. All right. Thank you for that. David Drew with Dave Jaworski and Fazia Mazar on our roundtable this morning. I'm happier just having seen Lucy, David, as we move into our second topic, and that is these digital villains that the city of Cambridge has rolled out by way of communication plan with the public in these wintry days we're stuck in. What do you make of the campaign, the pushback, the city's insistence on continuing, etc.?
You generally, as a government, don't want to condescend to your citizens. And that is what this is. And the worst part is, like, it's really easy and forgivable to accidentally condescend. And I'm thinking of when Chrystia Freeland was interviewed about inflation, and she said, well, I take public transit and we canceled Disney Plus. You know, it was a sincere answer, but it didn't speak to the realities of the situation. Now, this would be worse because this wasn't just an individual in an interview. This was a thought-out campaign by people. And as anybody who's dealt with government knows, a potentially good idea can be ruined by a committee of good thinkers. So this, I'm sure, was well-intentioned, but you do not want to condescend to people on something like this because you are basically saying to even the people who aren't the stereotypes that their complaints are illegitimate and their fears are wrong. So this, I don't think Cambridge did something intentionally bad, but I don't think they should have doubled down. I think they should have just walked away.
I was hoping that would have been the response as well, and I think condescend is a really good word here. I have no doubt, and I'm sure Dave Jaworski has experience in this, that there are many people who will call 45 minutes after the snow stops falling to demand a snowplow. I believe that, but I think somebody has to take the high road here, and that somebody or something is often the city. But anyway, Mr. Jaworski, thoughts?
Well, it's often that we would receive complaints, and citizens have the right to do so. They pay the bills, and the fact that they might not have all the information that we have. That's why we have talk radio shows for elected officials to sign up for and beg to be on, and say, you know what, I want to help answer these questions and take some of the the hits, so to speak, but also to give out the information. That's the beauty of talk radio, and you can jump right on it. So I'm surprised nobody's taken you up on it, but anyway, or even asked to be on. But anyway, I would say when I was mayor, we'd get some notes that would ask for things like snow clearing or whatever, and some would be very, very, very long and very, very, very bitter. And what I'd say to the team is, let's read it for the concept. And although it's really long and many paragraphs, it says, my street hasn't had snow clearing in a while. And so let's deal with that. And through the good fortune of having GPS and that, we can say when the last trucks were on the road, even back then. And but I think some of the issues are the fact that the plows simply can't scrape up what is already down on the road. It's too cold. And, at the end of the day, we may agree to disagree, but I don't think that we need to say, people are calling after 45 minutes, because I would say, you know what? People don't really call after 45 minutes. They call after a day, 2 days, 7 days. And so at what point does that lion villain or whatever that thing was say, you know what, you don't call after 45 minutes, but call after a day or call after 2 days? The reality is that some people don't want to hear from them at all, but we're just doing our job. But so yeah, I don't think it's working, but they seem to think so. And social media changes every few months, so far be it from me to say what works on social media nowadays. But again, it comes back to accessible government, and somebody needs to be doing some education, some explaining on what's going on, and in real time, not using an AI-generated character over social media.
Impatient Ivan was the tiger who was anxiously awaiting the plow on his invisible street. Fazia, what do you think of the digital villains in Cambridge?
I agree with David and Dave for sure. And just to say something kind of funny is that they probably just forgot to have a disclaimer. Look, this is only a joke for social media. There is no...
There's no tiger on your street?
There is no tiger on the street, but I was thinking of taking it from the emotional perspective, right? Like, so you want to send a message to a target audience where you are looking at people, as Dave described, that they're not necessarily calling in 45 minutes. They are already sort of anxious, they have been waiting, they're trying to call and all that stuff, or they're sending messages and things like that. The number, if you look at the population, what is our number, it's a very tiny minority of people. Believe me, I have never picked up the phone and called the city to complain or to ask for anything. And I've been here for 25 years in Waterloo region. So it's a small number of people who do that. It might look a lot when we are on the other side. However, it's not that big, right? We can work with them, as Dave was talking about. Focus on the issue. Don't worry about who is doing it and whatnot. So from the emotional perspective, whoever is responsible for communication, if you are trying to connect with people so that they can understand that the plows cannot be there and maybe there's a problem, you would never trigger their emotions. This one is like you're targeting people and telling them, you are the problem. You are the problem. And if you start the conversation like this, if I start the conversation like this with you, anybody, that's not going to end up in on a nice note ever. And my last thing that I want to say is that we have this We Belong Waterloo Region campaign. I hope that everyone knows about this. It talks about be kind to each other. Let's be kind. We need a Waterloo region that is kind. This doesn't only apply on the community, it applies on anyone. And social media, especially nowadays, is, it does need a lot of kindness from everyone. Sorry. It needs a lot of kindness from everyone, Cambridge included.
I think it was about 2 years ago where it was the American Red Cross who had a safety around water campaign that went horribly, horribly wrong after it was distributed across the country because all the bad behaviors in this poster somehow were being committed by minorities and all the good examples were white kids. Yeah. So, like, as much as we are looking at Cambridge right here, let's just remember it could have been a lot worse.
We'll give them that mulligan for sure, that grace. David Drew, Dave Jaworski, Fazia Mazar with us on the Farwell 4. Oh, I was going to call it the Farwell 4. It's the Friday 4 roundtable on the Farwell show. I guess we can call it the Farwell 4 if we want to. It's the Farwell 5 that starts the show every day. We'll move into international and provincial politics as we continue with the Friday 4 on the Farwell show. 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. That is Boston, and I think I like it. On this All Request Friday, Happy Uplifting Songs edition. And Greg wanted to hear that one, Farwell's Force, member number 38. Fridays also mean our Friday 4 roundtable. And with us on the roundtable this morning, we have Dave Jaworski, the former mayor of Waterloo and now a passionate pickleball player. Fazia Mazar is with us, executive director of the Coalition of Muslim Women, KW. And David Drew, owner, Negotiating Change, government relations, stakeholder engagement strategies, and, of course, a regular contributor on the show Monday mornings, 11:30 with Drew's Views. Dave Jaworski, I will start with you on this next one. I mean, it seems like every time we turn on the radio, there's something new, a statement or otherwise from Donald Trump. But the week began, of course, with the fallout from the latest ICE shooting in Minneapolis. Alex Preddy shot dead by ICE agents. What do you make of what's going on in the United States right now?
Well, my theme of government and accessible government and the government listening continues with this one. And this one's, again, an absolute tragedy. This is where somehow the government thinks it has something on its mind. This is the way to do it, and we're going to do it. And it really didn't work out. It doesn't work out. I was thinking last night as I was contemplating this question, where to go with it, because there's so, you need to watch late night U.S. television like Stephen Colbert to see what they really think about it in the United States, which isn't kind. It isn't kind for a reason, because this is terrible. You think about what the UK does in terms of policing, and I realize this isn't policing, it's a government organization, that's ICE, that's doing this. But, it's in the UK, they use what's called policing by consent, and where they try and develop the relationships, like the police don't all have guns or anything like that. It's about working with people and trying to arrange what needs to be done and doing the right thing and maintaining order of law. And the reality is that's what you want in a municipality, in a province, in a country. But taking a very high-handed, harsh approach does not work. When I was an elected official, when you're dealing with people every single day, you have to remember that everybody's just trying to get through life the best way that they know how. How they know and are two completely different things. But if you can put yourself in that person's shoes, in this case, somebody who may be an immigrant or person who wants to come to a country, that's what they want. They want to be there, right? So let's work with them. And to take such a heavy-handed approach and let it go out of control as it did is just such a tragedy, and literally should never happen. So I really don't know how to comment on this, because eventually in the future I would want to go to the United States, and they may take note of this. So I don't want to say too much, but this is an absolute tragedy. Should never have happened, and it's obviously targeting certain states, certain cities that don't vote the right way.
Should never have happened is absolutely true from where I'm sitting. Fazia, what is your take?
I just build on what Dave said, that it's just not about states who did not vote. It's also about the people, American people who may not agree, who may disagree with the politics. And I've been so kind to Donald Trump. Seriously, especially in his first term. I never said anything negative. I mean, okay, this is their personality, whatever it is. Now I feel like I have so much anger and resentment, to all of the policies and politics, but also every single day, a few times in a day, the whatever is called Truth Social, those messages that come out every day, they're just so distasteful is not the good word for that. They're just so disappointing. It's just like, where are we going as the world with US? That's like my overall thing. My own family is affected. I have a daughter who is a Canadian citizen married to an American. She decided never to take American citizenship for various reasons. But one of the things is her disagreement with the political pieces in Canada. In US, so she never took it. Now she's not able to come here because it's been a year almost that she hasn't visited us at all. So that's like personal as well. But going back to, for me, the contrast is that we do not want to hear aliens, let's say from Venezuela, but we can go over there. We can bring our businesses overnight. We can go over there. We can go there as sort of like, I'm now the president of Venezuela or whatever it is. We can invite our companies, businesses to take the oil from there and use it. But you aliens, you never set foot on our in our country or whatever it is. And we can go where you are with our force, with might that we have, and we can push you out with that. The challenge is, people don't agree with this. American people don't agree with it. So now you see this, what someone like me was used to see or hear from the developing countries. The military or the police, law enforcement, they're actually against their own population, against their own people. And it's a very, very sad state for U.S. to start with, and then for all the democracies, especially the Western democracies and things like that. It is very, very, very sad thing. That's what I say. Honestly, I'm not someone who get pessimist. I'm not a pessimist, but this whole affair has really, really disappointed me and is making me very, very pessimist. I don't see a lot of hope. What's going to happen? I don't know where we are going. It's sad.
They're our neighbors. We care about a lot of them. David Drew.
And our own sovereignty is at risk. If they're talking about Greenland today, and the proximity between Greenland and Canada is not really good in any way.
David, your thoughts?
Sorry.
Just so I'm not repeating what anybody else says, I think the part that scares me most is that Trump is going way down in the polls on this. He's going down in the polls on red states as midterms are approaching. There's no way he doesn't know this, but for some reason he seems not to care. And that to me is the scary part, because I remember January 6th. I could leave it at that because I feel like we're tight on time. Or how much time do we have, Mike?
No, go ahead. You can go a little bit further if you like.
Okay, then I'll just throw out one more Battlestar Galactica quote, or paraphrase, because I can't get it right. But in the reboot, there was this example of the army being needed to keep law enforcement, and Odama had the line about, police are there to keep the city safe, army's there to fight the enemies of the state. When the army becomes the police, the people become the enemy of the state. And I just want to follow that up because I think Dave had said that earlier, and I'm like, yes, I know the quote that encapsulates that. Edward James almost as Admiral Odama.
Just real quick, because you say it scares you that the polls are going down, you think something wild akin to January 6th may be Donald Trump's response.
I don't want to say akin to January 6th, but he knows his agenda is dead if he loses majorities in the House or the Senate. But he still doesn't seem to be caring about this action causing that. So I'm a little bit afraid of maybe it's not riots. Maybe it's just more calling around to governors saying, find me another 10,000 votes or something. But he doesn't seem to care about the fact that he's going to lose the House on this, which means he has a plan, I think.
David Drew, Dave Jaworski, and Fazia Mazar with us on the Friday 4 Roundtable this morning. Pierre Poilievre faces a leadership review this weekend, and the Ontario PCs are having a convention, but the media can't attend. Do we care about this? We'll talk about it with our Roundtable guests as we continue the Friday 4 on the Mike Farwell Show this morning, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. That is a little bit of Three Dog Night. Joy to the world. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. That's by request from Mike, Farwell's Force member number 32 on this All Request Friday. Happy Uplifting Songs edition. One more topic for our Friday 4 Roundtable guests to tackle this morning. Fazia Mazar, David Drew, and Dave Jaworski are with us. And Fazia, you can have first crack this time around, too. The media is not going to be allowed to attend the PC Party convention in Toronto this weekend. Do we care about that as the public?
I personally don't, but there are many people who do, which makes sense. My thing is, it's just out of normal business practice. You can easily have media. You can have like a few portions or sessions that are open to media, and then you can go in camera, whatever it is. You can do everything. It's not about keeping the whole thing sort of behind some curtains and things like that. There has to be a reason more than that. The reason is not that, oh, we don't want to talk in front of the media, we are doing some policy things and that sort of stuff. That doesn't happen in members' conventions that much anyway. So really, like, I'm trying to understand why even stir the pot when things are just so easy? Like, why? That why is, I don't have an answer for that. It's already garnering more media attention than it might have done otherwise. Maybe that was the goal. And then there would be like leaked reports coming, anonymous people who attended the convention. I don't know what is the reason. Is this a try to divert attention to the leadership race convention, or just the opposite, like take away the attention from there and bring it to PC convention? I don't know. I'll leave it on David and Dave to make sense of this.
Well, I'm glad David is here as well, because I'm sure you've attended a convention or two, and I feel like this is a bit of an own goal. I mean, aren't these just rah, we're great sorts of get-togethers, David?
This will be a policy convention. It's not exciting. But to get to the point, I really can't get upset about this because they're political parties are private clubs. This is not the government. And the number of times governments actually follow through on convention resolutions is so low that I think the probative value of covering these things, the parts that you are allowed to cover, because you never have full access. Most of the conventions I've been to, the greatest parts, there was no way that the media would ever be there for the Doug Findlay speeches. But as to why they're doing this, I think Fauzi hit the nail on the head. They are giving Pierre Poilievre the clearest field possible for his own convention. And it saves them some hassles too, because no offense, Mike, but media are a pain in the butt at these conventions. And it's really not worth any payoff from it because all it's ever covered is conflict. And it's conflict over crap that really doesn't matter because, like I said, governments tend to ignore a lot of the resolutions that come out of these things. So, yeah, in a perfect world, I'd like to see it covered, but I can't pretend to get my knickers in a twist about it.
I'm glad. So far, so good. I mean, we'll see what Dave Jaworski says. I've been feeling the same, and I'm a member of the media that could potentially be shut out. I don't care. I don't want to go to your dumb convention anyway. But Dave Jaworski, what do you think?
Well, I think that, again, continuing on an accessible government and that it's amazing how much control government now feels they can take over what is done. Public consultations, less of them. Accessibility to the media, less of that. Party convention, it's a business meeting. You don't need to be here. I can invite whoever I want. You don't need to know who is here. There's been some things that have happened in our case in provincial politics where there's been some discussions that have probably gone to directly through back doors and have happened and may happen in this meeting. It should be open. I believe that if there's something to know, we should know it. If there's nothing to know, well, then there's nothing to report on. As David mentioned, they'll always report on the controversy of the 1% who said, we should do this.
A political convention is the worst place to try and set up a backroom meeting. That's where everybody's going to notice you. That's why you go to a massage booth in Las Vegas to have these meetings.
Okay.
Not golf anymore?
Yeah.
It has changed.
You were away for that one.
Yeah.
You were recovering during that one. Oh, yeah, there was swanky massages involved in the Greenbelt scandal, Fauzi.
I really didn't know that. Oh, my God, I missed so much.
Well, this is why you have to tune into the Friday 4 panel, because you never know what might be said. That happens.
I completely missed that.
At 11:30 on Mondays.
That's funny.
Yeah, I think that, this is certainly from a premier who's very accessible, gives out his mobile number and actually makes calls back, which is something.
But we have no idea who he's talking to. Right? Because it's his personal phone and it's not a government phone. Like, this comes back to your transparency.
Yes.
He's very accessible, but we have no idea what, because it's outside the information system.
Yeah, good point. It's just... I think you hit the nail on the head, Mike, with it's an own goal. Like, why bother doing this? So it just makes people think there's something up. So anyway.
But there's something. Sorry, go ahead, Dave. But there's something. Like, we just had this conversation this week around where is the accountability for the government at different levels? We were talking more about local level. But the idea was that the accountability comes from the public. Right? Like, maybe I'm not interested in that, but there is people who are interested in knowing. Media is sort of sort of in between that can bring pieces out. And yes, they may, a lot of time, maybe about conflict. Nobody wants to talk about all the good things that happened, 150 hugs and 60, cheers, whatever. It's about what were the tensions, what were the important points. That actually creates that layer of accountability. Again, maybe Mike and I and David are not interested in that, but there are other people who are. So if they're completely barred out, or they're
then they can join the party.
Just buy a membership and get in.
Join the party.
No, why do things behind closed doors?
And Dave Jaworski did get me thinking, I wouldn't mind seeing the guest list. I wouldn't mind seeing who shows up at the Toronto Convention Centre. Anyway, we'll have to leave it on that note because we're fresh out of time. Fazia Mazar, the executive director of the Coalition of Muslim Women KW, Dave Jaworski, former mayor of Waterloo and dedicated pickleball player, and David Drew. Drew's Views host. He'll be here Monday at 11:30. David Drew will. He owns Negotiating Change, government relations and stakeholder engagement strategies. Thank you all for your participation and your good humor, and enjoy the weekend ahead.
Thank you, Mike.
We're going to open the phone lines to you next. Free Phones Friday, right after this update from the 570 News Center on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
This is a song about a whale. No! This is a song about being happy. That's right. It's the happy, happy, joy, joy song. Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy, joy. I don't think you're happy enough. That's right.
Oh, I'm happy enough, Ren, or Stimpy, or whichever one of you that just was. Happy, happy, joy, joy. By request from Nate, Farwell's Force member number 8 on this All Request Friday, Happy or Uplifting Songs edition. I don't know how that song makes anybody happier or uplifts them in any way. But Nate, if it works for you, that's what we're here to do. All Request Friday here on the show. Fridays also mean free phones. I wish I could give you one, but I can't. However, I can open our phone lines to you so that you can make a call and have your thoughts heard by the entirety of Farwell's Force here on the show. A force for good, a force for change, a force to be reckoned with. And we're going to dive right in because the phone lines are already getting busy. Ibrahim, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mike. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Good. My force, 275, I think.
Ibrahim, you're coming through your phone's not great today. Are you in a bad area?
Yeah, just a second. Yeah, now, you hearing me?
A little bit better.
Yeah. No, I said, Mike force 275.
277.
277, okay, 277.
And that was my fault. I made a mistake the first time, Ibrahim, and I'm sorry. So, yes, you are 277.
Okay. No problem.
Okay.
Well, there's a question, Mike, in the beginning of your program, that $1 million question. You said
40% of people Google the salary of their coworker, yes.
Yeah, but I was wondering, is it illegal? Someone, posted his or her salary online. Anyone can access?
No.
It should be confidential, right?
No, not at all. In fact, we have, for that very reason, we have pay disclosure or pay transparency laws. And in fact, if you work for the provincial government or you're in some way paid by the province, your salary, if it's over 100,000, is published online every year.
I know that the sunshine list. I know that.
Yeah.
But any employees, for example, if I'm working in the industry, for example, so anyone can have access in how much I'm making if I don't put anything online. That's my thing.
Listen, Ibrahim, I hear where you're coming from, and you must be a little bit like me when it comes to salary disclosure. I mean, I grew up in an era where that wasn't the sort of thing that you talked about a lot, right? If ever. So I get it. But maybe you would Google and learn a salary range. I don't know. I don't even know how you do it. I'm not a very good cyber sleuth. So maybe people use the Google better than I use the Google. I don't know. Grant is next on Free Phones Friday. Hello, Grant.
Good day there, Mr. Mike.
Good day there, Mr. Grant.
I love that song.
The Ren and Stimpy song?
It's hilarious.
It is not hilarious. It said grandma suck eggs. I don't want to say that ever to anybody's grandma.
Well, I didn't really like that game that we played. It was kind of boring. I know.
What are you talking about? What game?
The Ranger game that, even though it went to overtime, maybe I was just watching too much of the Ranger games throughout the weekend. Maybe it kind of got boring for me, yeah.
There's been a lot of Rangers games to watch lately, you're right.
And I like it when they don't have... If I'm the commissioner of hockey, there's no fighting at all. If you want to
Whoa,
watch fighting,
stop it. No way.
Go and watch boxing.
Grant, don't take my fighting away from me, please.
Golf.
No.
Tennis. Football. Baseball. Do they fight?
Yes,
No.
of course they do. They just fight differently. They don't fight like hockey players fight. Hockey players fight the best.
And did Wayne Gretzky at all fight?
No, because Wayne Gretzky had Dave Semenko and Marty McSorley to fight for him. Listen, Grant, you know I love you like a brother. I'm not going to sit for that happy crappy this afternoon. Leave my fighting alone in hockey. In fact, here's my hot take on that. In the Ontario Hockey League, you're allowed to have just 3 fights in a season. And if you have a 4th fight, you get suspended for 2 games. And if you have a 5th fight, you get suspended again, and so on. That's dumb rule. You should be allowed to. It's the 68-game season. Come on with your coming on 3 fights. Jiminy Christmas. If you want to fight a little more than that, you can fight a little more than that. I like a good scrap. Anyway, Kyle, you're on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon.
I would have been suspended for the whole season if the way they saw the way I fought back when I played hockey.
Exactly. Exactly.
I couldn't score a goal if I tried, but I'm not afraid to drop the glove to my friend. So, but lacrosse, that's up there. I think they have one of the best fights as well compared to hockey, in my opinion. Lacrosse, those guys are brutal. Have you seen a game?
You know what? So here's the truth. I was actually broadcasting for Rogers TV, and I got sent out to cover a lacrosse game. It was the first lacrosse game I had ever seen. And my dad used to play, so I must have been a disappointment to him. But I watched the beginning of the lacrosse game, and I'm like, oh, that's a penalty, that's a penalty. And then I realized, oh, you're allowed to do that in lacrosse. I love that game. It's fantastic.
It's funny because my first job was working at an arena in Grimsby, Ontario, and the Buffalo Bandits used Grimsby, Ontario, a rink at the time. It's not there anymore, but they used it, and I had no idea what lacrosse was moving back from Oklahoma. And I was like, man, these are big boys, and here I am like a little 15-year-old kid just opening the arena for them at 7 a.m., eh? But, Mike, I just want to say have fun tonight. Stay warm. I had problems. I think my one GTI that I have sitting at home did not start this morning because it was so cold. And I'm so glad I have a neighbor to help me out because we had to do some car moving around by pushing it. So stay warm. Make sure your cars are running and all that stuff. I know it's tough when it's minus 25 or whatever, and the batteries are getting a little struggling now. But stay warm, Mike, and enjoy the game tonight, my friend.
Thanks, Kyle. Looking forward to the game tonight. Big one with the Windsor Spitfires. Can't wait. And if you can't make it, I think we're going to have a big crowd tonight. I'm predicting a big crowd. If you can't make it, though, just tune in to 570 News Radio, your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. Josh Piercy and I will get your coverage started with the Harris Law pregame show at 6:30. And to Kyle's point about our vehicles and the stress this weather puts on them, I never thought that I would be living in a place in this part of Ontario where you have to plug in your vehicle with the block heater at night, eh? Like, come on. Thunder Bay came up earlier in the show in conversation where I spent a winter. Oh, my goodness. And everybody's got a block heater up there, but down here? Anyway, I'm going to save my car the trouble tonight. I'm going to walk to the game. I don't live all that far from the Odd, and I know my beloved's going to roll her eyes at me like she always does, but I want to get some extra steps in. And listen, I'll survive after the game. Barely, because it's going to be freezing cold by the time I leave after 11 o'clock tonight, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to walk to the game. Put my toque on, off I go. Tom, you're next on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mike. Thank you for taking my call. I have two things I wanted to just mention to you.
Sure.
First of all, you may remember a tin of beans and a toonie before Christmas.
I remember a tin of beans and a toonie.
I thought you might. I just wanted to let you know that I think as a result of your input, we doubled the amount of money we collected for our charity. So thank you for that.
Thank you for what you did to make it happen. Way to go.
No, well, we did our best. Anyway, the second thing I wanted to mention to you was I was listening to your show, you had an on-request show, and you played a song from my youth, Tell Laura I Love Her.
Yes, I did.
And I was working in a small candy store. I must have been 12 or 13. And there was a girl who came in who I thought her name was Laura. And I would whistle that tune vigorously when she'd come in. And I got no response whatsoever. And then I found out her name was Dolores.
Well, Tom, that'll teach you, won't it?
That'll teach me. So I got a laugh thinking about that. So thank you for that, Mike. And that's all I got to say. Nothing else.
All right, Tom, enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Great to hear from you. Dolores. Now, if you are of a certain vintage, and I can't believe I have to say that about this show, but it was 90s night recently at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium, and they did this fun video with the players and some of the coaches, and even the general manager, Mike McKenzie, got in on it. And they showed pictures of things from the 1990s to see if the players could recognize them. And the players recognized very few, which of course makes sense because the oldest player in the Ontario Hockey League this year was born in 2005. So how would they know what Seinfeld is, for example? But going back to Tom's call and Dolores, do you remember? Do you remember the Seinfeld episode about Dolores? Jerry couldn't remember his girlfriend's name. All he remembered is that it rhymed with a female body part. And I'll just leave it right there for your imagination, but I'm laughing already with some of the names that he came up with trying to remember Dolores. Rhymes with a female body part. That's enough of that for now. That was a primetime sitcom. This is a daytime radio show, and it's Free Phones Friday, where you make the call and start the conversation. We'll keep taking calls right after this on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. Is a flat-out classic from Jackie Wilson. Higher and Higher, by request from Dean, Farwell's Force member number 74. Great choice. Happy to play it for you on this All Request Friday Happy Songs or Uplifting Songs edition. As we continue Free Phones Friday. And, you know, I was born at night, not last night. And for the past 2 days, I thought something might be up, and I've arrived at the conclusion. I even just tested it myself. Something is definitely up. See, I've got 5 phone lines in here. 2 of them for the star 570 call, 2 of them for 519-570-2545, and 1 of them for the 1-800 line. That's full disclosure. Now you know how all of this works. But my star 570 lines have not been working well. In fact, it appears as though only some carriers are getting through on star 570. So if you try star 570 and it doesn't work, that's why. Something's wrong on this end. We've got a gremlin in the machine over here. We're going to work on that. In the meantime, try the 519 or the 1-800 numbers, which are keeping busy. So we'll move through them as quickly as we can. But I appreciate your patience in this matter as we get it sorted out. Star 570 not working from every cell phone right now. If you try it, it doesn't work. We got a problem over here. We're working on it. Sandy is next on Free Phones Friday. Hello, Sandy.
Hi, Mike. It's Farwell Force number 130.
Love hearing from you. Welcome to the show.
Good to hear you, too. I just wanted to say it was so nice to hear Fazia back on the Friday 4 panel. I met her years ago at a course, and she is a lovely, lovely person.
Couldn't agree more, Sandy. And that was really, it's far too long since we had Fazia on the show. She is now back as a regular contributor on our roundtable.
Excellent. I was going to ask if she was. So I'm glad to hear her back, and love hearing from Dave Jaworski as well. He's always an excellent member on the panel. So just wanted to say that little shout out to Fazia. It's great to hear her voice.
All right, Sandy. Thanks very much. Great to hear yours too. Enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Oh, and give Greg a hug for me.
Oh, I will for sure.
All right. Thanks, Sandy. Yes, our Friday 4 roundtable every Friday, 11 until noon, a rotating cast of characters. And when Dave Jaworski isn't too busy with pickleball, he'll join us on the Friday 4 as well. Tom is next on Free Phones Friday. Hi, Tom.
Mike, you must be missing Marner by now.
No, I don't care about Marner.
No.
You said I must be missing him. I'm telling you I don't miss him.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
The thing is, you were wrong, like a lot of other things. It wasn't his fault. At least the Leafs had to...
Wait a minute. What are you talking about? What was I wrong about?
Well, because you said that they had to trade him. No, they just...
I didn't say they had to trade him.
Yeah.
Well, I wish they had traded him and not let him walk as a free agent, but anyway.
Yeah, they could have gotten more, but it's not his fault. At least the Leafs had something to look forward to, playmaking and everything. And right now, they should get rid of everybody.
Everybody. Just start all over from scratch, eh?
Well, that's what we do every 10 years, because Shani didn't want to quit 5 years ago. So now we got to start. We had a good chance when we had all that high talent, but they needed one more puck-moving defenseman and a goalie. Was always missing. So we had the forwards, we had the speed. I don't know how it's going to take a while to start up. Like, I'm the biggest fan, but I just like to watch. And the coach has got to go. He's got to be the ugliest coach in the league.
Well, listen, I'm the ugliest talk show host in Waterloo Region. I hope I don't have to go just based on my looks or lack thereof. I'm with you on the frustration, Tom. I get it. This edition of the Toronto Maple Leafs has been maddening to watch. Injuries haven't helped. I'm not here to make excuses, but injuries haven't helped. And I agree with you on the goaltending piece for sure. Tom says we needed one more puck-moving defenseman and a goaltender. That's all that was required. We have dropped the ball or bobbled the puck time and again on the goaltending situation. And had we addressed that, it might be a different story. I wonder how these GMs keep their jobs. Because we can all see it from here, Brad Treliving. We can all see it from here. The goaltending is an issue. Maybe you want to look into that. Anyway, Free Phones Friday continues with John. Good afternoon, John.
Hello, how are you doing, Michael?
Hello, Jonathan. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. A song request would be Down on the Corner by CCR. That's Creedence Clearwater Revival to someone of your age.
Wow. Okay, then. Be that way. Little John Fogerty action. Okay.
Yes. And the other thing is, I don't agree with you with the fighting on the ice, but let me explain why.
I love it when you disagree with me, John. Bring it on.
I love it that it's under control to a large extent, because way back in the day, they would have all these goons hired for the teams. No talent, no skill. They couldn't fight worth a darn. I mean, they were just street brawling apes. My brother was a high-level boxer. I know the difference between somebody who can fight and a gorilla swinging his arms like he's got bananas. And the games would last 3 hours, because it'd go for 2 minutes, there'd be a fight. Another 2 minutes, there'd be a fight. And finally, I just gave up watching hockey, because I said, this is impossible. I'm sick of watching these no-talent slobs flail away at each other and draw out the game forever. So now, yes, keep it under control. That's my theory on the situation.
All right, John. Listen, I appreciate the call. And I will agree to the point that it is a better game absent those designated enforcers, goons, whatever you want to call them. I agree with that. What I'm having trouble with, and I was expressing earlier, is that in the Ontario Hockey League anyway, allowing a player only 3 fights in an entire season before they get a suspension for a 4th fight, a 5th fight, etc., I don't think that's enough. So I didn't love where we were. I think we are in a better place than that, but now I think we've gone too far the other way. Could we bring it back somewhere towards the middle? Could a player have, say, 7 fights in an OHL season, 1 every 10 games, for example? Could we assign a number of fights to a team for a season? And then if they use up the team number of fights, they can start adding suspensions. But maybe somebody doesn't want to fight at all, and somebody, instead of fighting 3 times, wants to fight 6 or 8 times, and they could use that towards the team total number of fights. They do that out in the Western Hockey League. I think that might be a way to go here in the Ontario Hockey League. I love me a good scrap, and if you didn't get excited about what Weston Cameron did on Tuesday night to stand up for his goaltender, then you're not a hockey fan. What Weston Cameron did, in my books, was show himself to be the great teammate that he is. You mess with my goalie, I'm going to knock you out. And that's what he did. I loved it. Free Phones Friday continues ahead of the big game tonight versus Windsor. Phone lines open to you on the Mike Farwell Show. 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right to think about the girl you love and hold her tight. So happy together. If I should call you up, invest a dime, and you say you belong to me, ease my mind. Imagine how the world could be so very fine, so happy together.
This one. They are the Turtles, and they are by request on this All Request Friday. Happy Uplifting Songs edition. Requested by Conservative Charlie, Mark, and Mike, Farwell's Force member number 37. On that note, if you are unaware of what all this Farwell's Force numbering is about, allow me to just remind you briefly. We are collectively a force for good, a force for change, a force to be reckoned with. We started it just kind of on a lark, and we are now more than 300 members strong. And if you would like to be a member, all you have to do is listen for 15 minutes. I do ask that you listen for 15 minutes every day, but as long as you do that, any 15 minutes of the show, heck, you listen longer. I love you for that too, let me tell you. But please, if you tune in for 15 minutes every day, you too can be a member of this growing force for good in our community. We will assign you an official number. I got a really nice email from Corey last evening after the show. And, shout out, Corey, working for Home Hardware. I told you during the Farwell Show 5 this morning, the annual Home Hardware Golf Tournament, they bring in dealers and suppliers, and they bring them right here to our region because Home Hardware is headquartered in St. Jacobs. $182,000 raised through that golf tournament last year for Cystic Fibrosis Canada. Hey, I love that. And Corey said he's been a loyal listener for a long time, wished he had gotten in earlier on this Farwell's Force stuff, but wondered if he could get number 316. Oh, Corey, you got it, buddy. You are 316 in our books and on our official list, which I keep right here with me in the studio, of Farwell's Force members. So thank you for that, Corey. Also a season ticket holder for the Kitchener Rangers. See you tonight, buddy. Big game versus the Windsor Spitfires. If you want to join our ever-growing force, drop me an email, mike@570news.com, and we'll get you on the official list. A force for good, a force for change, a force to be reckoned with. Preston Paul, Farwell's Force member number 45. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mike and second call of the day. It's been a
My
while.
lucky day, buddy. My lucky day. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to say that your show is like an addiction. I can't get enough of it. I just love listening to you talk and the people you interview and just everything you're talking about. I just find it so informative, and it's like a drug. It's like I got to have it. I got to be here. I got to be ready to listen to what everybody else has got to say.
Well, that's very kind of you. I appreciate that. We really do work hard at getting the right guests and sharing the kinds of stories that would be interesting to you. So I'm glad it's working out.
Yeah, and those people in Alberta, man, if that isn't treason, I don't know what is, especially in this, what we're living through with the U.S. It's just mind-boggling to me that they would even attempt to do that.
I'm with you, Paul. I think that there are a few people that say Premier David Eby's words were strong, but I think I'm leaning his way. This has got to be pretty close to treason.
It is, and that's exactly what it is. You know, you look up the dictionary and what the word means. Like, that is just insane when what they're doing.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks for taking the time to call in.
Yep, you have a great weekend, Mike.
You too, Paul. Talk to you again.
You bet.
Bye-bye. So Paul enjoys the show. It's like a little bit of a drug and addiction for him because he gets all the things he wants and he gets the chance to have his say. And he says those yahoos, well, that's the word I have used to describe them, from Alberta, part of the separatist movement there. I get the separatist movement. I understand that. And I'm happy to have the conversation in this country about where we're at and how we can do better. But when you take your case to a foreign government and appeal for some funding from there to help you in your efforts to leave this country, again, I might lean Premier David Eby's way from British Columbia. He said it was treason. And then when asked about it at the Premier's meeting afterwards, he explained why he said what he said.
This is a country we have to fight for. There are lots of people who would like to take it from us. We need to express in this moment, especially when the country faces such a profound threat, we need to express that we will fight for this country, that we'll stand up for it, and that those who don't wish to, those who would solicit a foreign government to try to come in and take over our country or break it up, that's not part of our vision for Canada. That's not Canadian conduct. And in fact, I described it as an old-fashioned word because we haven't had to use it for a long time. In my opinion, that is treasonous activity, and it needs to be called out. It needs to be stopped.
I think David Eby's right. Treasonous activity. Let's go back to the phones. Matthew, good afternoon. You're on Free Phones Friday.
Well, hi there, Mike. And after hearing that last caller, I feel like I'm going to be a complete contrast to the Downer situation. But I've been thinking about our hometown here in Kitchener, and I've been watching the curling for the tournament parts in Mississauga throughout the week, and it made me think that it's been 40 years now since Kitchener had the Brier, and we had the tournament parts in 2003, which I got to volunteer in. And I think to myself, that's the last time we held a curling tournament here in Kitchener. So I thought to myself, if we can't get the Memorial Cup, if we have to lose at to Guelph, why don't we get an event like the Brier to come back? Because if it's been over 40 years, I think it's high time we got another one.
You know what, Matthew? I appreciate the idea. And don't apologize for changing the subject to something that you're passionate about. Happy to hear all kinds of different ideas. We just had a big tournament hosted in Elmira earlier this month, which was a Scotties Tournament of Hearts qualifier. So there's that aspect of it. And we are capable of hosting these major tournaments. I would be surprised, if I'm honest with you, Matthew, if our sport tourism department within Tourism Waterloo Region isn't actively seeking all kinds of opportunities like this. We're going to be hosting the Provincial A Ringette Championships in March. And when's the volleyball coming? The volleyball's coming, right? I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. But listen, get the high-level curling Brier to the Memorial Auditorium. Why not? I remember when it was here, and we do love our curling. So let's see if we can get it back. Fire Hall Bill is with us on Free Phones Friday. Hello, Bill.
How are you, Mike?
I'm all right. What's Fire Hall Bill? Are you at the Fire Hall right now?
No, I was the one that pointed to you at the fire hall last year when you were doing the Farwell for...
when we were there washing cars.
Washing cars. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Well, good to hear from you.
I haven't been a force member, but I want to be.
Well, we can make that happen for you, Bill.
And I've got a number for you.
What number would you like?
777.
What, Bill? I like things to go in sequence. Why you got to be this way? I'm only at like 304.
Because the challenge is on Canada Day, you will be at 777.
I'm going to put you down as Fire Hall Bill. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, and you say by Canada Day, we have to take this list to 777.
Right.
We have to more than double it, Fire Hall Bill.
If everybody in the region that says they listen to you and they want to be a member, it'll be no problem at all.
I love your optimism. Thank you. We've got you on the list, and we'll see if we can get there by Canada Day.
Okay, I'll keep track.
All right, Bill, thanks very much.
I'll help you get there.
I appreciate it. I'm going to need it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thanks very much.
Ready.
Take good care. Bye-bye. There you go. Now we have a challenge before us. We've got like 6 months to get there. It's not quite Feb 1 yet. It will be soon, thankfully. This endless January will come to an end. But Fire Hall Bill says we can get to 777 members by July the 1st. That's still Canada Day, right? We're going to celebrate that this year? Okay. So we'll see what we can do. You got to put your, I guess, money where your mouth is. If you say, oh, I listened to that Farwell guy, well, we got to get you on the official list then. And you can prove that you listen to that Farwell guy. Free Phones Friday to Alex next. Good afternoon, Alex.
Good afternoon. Yeah, you guys were talking about the Alberta separatist movement and stuff, and I'm old enough to remember the Quebec separatist movement compared to the Alberta one. And I remember that they were talking to France. The president of France said that he was all for it.
Yes,
I don't remember any treason talk.
But they weren't. See, here's the difference, Alex, because I understand this, but that's a little bit revisionist, or it's certainly different insofar as nobody went to France and asked for money, right? There were just these.
And wait. First off, you're assuming that that might have happened. I don't know. It might have. I wouldn't doubt it if it did.
I don't think that's the case. But I mean, why then would the Alberta separatists be so blatant about it?
I don't know. And the other thing, too, during the Quebec separatist movement...
I love how you just jump right off that, right? Because you know that you're in a corner there and you're wrong.
Before you hang up on me, I have to be rushed to get my points across because you always hang up on me.
Well, because you don't make very good points most of the time, let's be honest.
Well, that's your opinion.
Yes, it is.
That's the person you are. But...
The person that I am telling you and your opinions aren't very good?
Well, no, you're a total liberal. That's why you don't like my opinions, because I come from common sense and you come from progressives.
I got you.
That's the big deal. But
yeah.
The other thing is the Canadian people at the time were marching in Quebec saying, "Hey, we love you, don't leave." Before the referendum in Quebec, the last one, the Quebecois contacted the top Quebec military leaders in our armed forces and told them to fly any jets, any military equipment to get it to Quebec as soon as the vote went in their favor. And I didn't hear any talk of treason for that. I think this treason talk, Alberta has a beef. It's had a beef for a long time. They're very not happy. So
right, but Alex,
why don't find out what that is and try and fix it.
I got
as
that.
opposed to just calling a bunch of treasonous people.
First of all, okay, I mean, you gave me so much to unpack now, but let's just focus on what these yahoos are doing, and that is seeking.
That helps.
Yeah, well, listen, if you don't want to be called a yahoo, don't act like a yahoo. Pretty simple. So if you
black there, my friend,
Alex, well, you can call me a yahoo if you think I'm being a yahoo. That's fine. So all I'm asking though is if a Canadian goes to a foreign government and seeks funding for their effort to leave Canada, how is that not treason?
I just don't think it is.
Okay, so that's and there you go, and that's fine. You don't think it is. I do think it is, and in fact, I think if you look up the definition, you're pretty damn close. But that's okay. You can ignore that close proximity to the definition of treason if you choose. That is your choice. Free will and all that. It's the Farwell Show. Free Phones Friday. We continue on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Sun is shining.
A little bit of ELO and Mr. Blue Sky by request from Terry on this All Request Friday Happy or Uplifting Songs edition. As we continue Free Phones Friday here on the show, you make the call, I'll answer. We'll talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Brian is next. Good afternoon, Brian.
Good afternoon, Mike. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
Oh, very good, thank you.
Good.
I'm just getting, very ticked off with everybody seeming to blame the region for the water woes and everything. I mean, to me, I think you got to put the blame where 90% of the blame belongs, and that's on the provincial government. I mean, let's face it, like the region had stuff in place to keep the water flow going and everything else, and then the provincial government took that away from them. They let the cities do all that. Okay, now you can build here, build there, build here. Like they had that one big moran, I think it's in Dune South, protected, but Doug Ford said, no, build on it, and buries it. Okay. And all the builders were happy. So, like, you can't blame the region for allowing building where there shouldn't be.
Well, I think you're right, Brian, that the province plays a role in this for sure. But when it comes right down to it, even when the city then opens up and expands in Southwest Kitchener, that new dune build that you're talking about, it still has to go to the region, and the region has to sign off on all these permits. And by doing that, the region is saying we can supply the water. So I think the province plays a role. I think, though, 70 or more % of this is on the region. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. But you're right. Like, the province shouldn't get off scot-free here. But I think the buck stops at the region and the people at the region who are responsible for our water. And when or if this problem was being identified properly, they would have stopped issuing the permits a while ago. And they did not do that. John is next on Free Phones Friday. Hello, John.
Oh, guess what? I'm back. Okay. I can't let this treason business go without quoting Sir John Harrington, who was a member of Queen Elizabeth I's court, and said, "Treason doth never prosper." What's the reason? Why, if it prosper, none dare call it treason. And frankly, I think if we're going to yell about treason, we have to include Quebec in this business. They've been talking treason since I can remember.
Well, no, they've been talking separation, and I think it's different, John. I really do. I didn't see Quebec walk down to Washington and ask for financial support to separate.
You ever heard of Charles de Gaulle?
Of course I have.
Yeah, they were talking to him quite a bit. Anyway, leaving that out of it, the other thing is I lived in B.C. for a few years, and I consider this very impertinent for an NDP granola-munching tree hugger from British Columbia.
Listen, it's funny, I lived in B.C. for a couple of years too, and I didn't understand the NDP out there. I did not find the granola-munching tree huggers that I thought I would find when I was there. I was very confused by the BC NDP vis-a-vis the Ontario NDP that I grew up with. So interesting indeed. Maybe they're back to what they were when I was there in the 90s, John. I don't know. Mark, you're on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mike. Just a couple of quick things for you.
Sure, buddy.
First of all, I've got tickets for the game tonight.
Oh, how'd you score those puppies?
I bought them a long time ago, Mike.
Smart man, Mark. Smart man.
I bought tickets, and guess where they are? Right behind the Rangers bench.
Look out. Way to go.
Tell me about it. I can't wait.
Fantastic.
Secondly, Mike, does Andre have a number?
No.
Give him number 420.
420 is actually already taken. I thought it was. Maybe it's not.
Andre
anyway,
deserves that.
I know. No, listen, if we gave Andre a number, he would get so much more confused. He's confused enough as it is.
And I can't make the walk tonight up to see you, Mike, but way too far of a walk. But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the game.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mark. I'll see you at the game. I think that's a little bit insulting. You're going to be behind the Rangers bench, and you can't make the walk up to the booth. We're on the same side of the arena. All you got to do is go up the stairs. Oh, is it too many stairs? Guess who has to climb those stairs all the ding-dang time? That's right, the people who work on press row. Come on with your coming on. It's too far to go. That's fine. You just go there, you get your seat, you enjoy the game, because it is going to be a doozy at the Memorial Auditorium tonight. And if you can't be there, you know that Josh Piercy and I will keep you entertained and informed right here on your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. Harris Law pregame show coverage starts at 6:30. Rangers and Spits face off just after 7, and Josh and I will stick around for your phone calls after the game on Rangers Talk. All of that is later. For now, I must bid you farewell until a little bit later today, and then we'll come back Monday morning at 9 and talk more about the issues of the day on this show. My name is Mike Farwell. You are a force for good. Bye for now.